We're live. Call it what you want. Live stream the watch along. We got US taking on Trinidad and Tobago, the opening match of the Gold Cup. Thanks for joining my esteemed colleagues, Tony Miola, legendary Hall of Fame goalkeeper, and Mike Grella, my strike partner on the US Youth National teams. I mean, we're taking it back. How do we feel? The lineups came out. Are we feeling optimistic? We feeling hopeful? I mean, we'll get to the drama in the build-up to this game, but now we got a starting 11 to kick off a tournament under Pochettino.
We must be clutching at the straws. You guys are bringing in youth national team guys. I don't have the big caps like you boys and Tony, obviously with the 3 World Cups.
Yeah, but you were my strike partner. That's why I got to bring it up. Obviously you're the voice in Serie A. You're Mr. TST. But hey, I gotta vibe with you. You know what I'm saying?
No, I appreciate the love, man. I'm pumped to be here with you guys tonight and watch the game.
Yeah, man, excited. Excited to get past. You said we'll bring up the drama, but I'm excited to get past it all, right?
Yeah.
And get to seeing some games and get to seeing this team perform and seeing again how we bounce back from what's been, let's call it, a less than desirable last 4 matches, right? Especially given the results. So. Yeah, I'm ready to roll here. With regards to the lineup, I don't think, for me, the one big surprise, maybe, if you will, is Tim Ream gets to start. And I think he's giving a guy that's got a lot of experience in this moment one more opportunity with this side. And that's, other than that, I think over the course of this week, we kind of picked this lineup, if you will, right? We had one or two maybe that we had question marks about, but no real surprises for me. I don't know about you.
Tony, let's keep it real here. Tell me about Matt Freese. He's getting the starting goal. The trust from Pochettino. How big of an opportunity is this for Matt Freese?
Yeah, it's massive. We talked about it, right? He got the start against Turkey. I didn't think Matt Turner was sharp against Switzerland, and you're going with a guy that has some more games under his belt recently. He's probably a little bit sharper. So, yeah, I said I wanted to see him. Now, the question is, does he give him the entire tournament? Is he making a decision? And we won't know this for a couple of days, but is he making a decision, hey, this is my guy to win this tournament? Because that's essentially what we've seen over the history of this competition, right? Some guy gets an opportunity in goal and he runs with it, whoever it is. So that's the question mark. But to see him play in this first game, no surprise, well-deserved by Matt Freese.
And Grella, I got to get your take. You were Man, I just got cut off. I was trying to set up Grella. Welcome to Call It What You Want. The YouTube live is popping off. I love to see Gordo, PVBC, John Johnson. Absolutely love all the engagement we're getting on the live stream on YouTube. I'm joined by all Hall of Famer, our beloved Tony Miola and Mike Grella, the voice of CBS Serie A. This is Mr. New York, TST, my youth national team strike partner. Happy to have you on the show, Mike Grella. We were just talking about the starting 11, and I wanted to get your perspective, Mike. You were Mr. Creative. I love playing with you because you saw things differently. You were very confident on the ball. I want to talk about some of the playmakers here in the starting 11. Diego Luna, Malik Tillman, and Jack McGlynn. What are you thinking about this? Or what do you hope to see, and what are you expecting?
Yeah, I think it's a good front 3 there, right? Tillman, if you look through what he's done in his career, is incredible. Luna, obviously the younger one, that's exciting as well, 21 with McGlynn. Luna's the one that everyone talks about that could be this wild card for the U.S., right? The number 10, the guy that can break lines, create, not the guy that's going to be predictable. You know what I mean? And so that's exciting. So that's a really good front 3. I look at this more as like this game tonight is like a macro approach. And I think all eyes are on this team, obviously, at the moment, and all eyes are on Pochettino for sort of the start he's had. I think when you look at new managers come into teams, and to go back to the front 3 as well, you want to see something different. For me, like I want to know, what are we doing? what's this team doing? How are they playing? Are these guys going to be able to be free in their roles, like Tillman, Luna, and McGlynn? Are they going to be able to express themselves and be creative, or is it going to be sort of rigid? I think the one hate on Pochettino, and we will talk about it all night, I'm sure. But the one thing is, like, it's not clear to me exactly what we're going to play like and what it's going to look like and who's going to play and all these different things. And that I think that's the disappointing thing. So when you come into these kind of roles, I think you need to hit the ground running, and it's got to be clear. You could have a slow start, but it's got to be clear. We're doing this, and this is how we're going to do it, and these are the guys we're going to give opportunities to. So that's just the one disappointment so far for me. But we'll see. We'll see what these front three do tonight. Massive opportunities for everyone. Seems like no one's guaranteed anything in this team at the moment. So that this is really big moments that we see leading up to the World Cup.
I love this comment from Urias Tosh. Union Academy is essentially La Masia of the U.S. men's national team from a certain point of view, if you will. They've been producing talent. I got to give a lot of credit to the Philadelphia Union. You know, I got to play for the Union, so I got to see it firsthand. Great coaching, great setup, giving these kids a real opportunity to make something of their career. So I see the doop. I know, Grella, you didn't like to hear that song. I got to take a look at Patrick Agyemang as a striker here. He's getting the nod. I think when you look at the other options from the start, I think Brian White, the fact that he's here is because he's done so well in MLS, but this is a guy that comes off the bench. As a starting striker, he relies on service. He's not going to stretch back lines. He's not going to create off the dribble. He's not going to break down teams with a pass or movement. He's one of those guys that's a poacher. I think he's great coming off the bench in certain instances, but in a game like this, you want someone who we've seen some potential, a little bit raw, but I think Patrick Agyemang out of this group, it's right for him to get the start. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I said after the the Turkey game he started, right? As sloppy as he was in that game, he's still a presence, right?
Yeah.
And the center backs have to deal with him all the time, and that's what we're seeing from him. But there's no doubt he's got to clean his game up. I think you said it the last show. You used the word raw. I think that nails it, right? He's a raw forward. That's who he is. He's starting his international journey a little bit late, so he's got some catching up to do, and it seems like he's getting better. He didn't have a great game in that Turkey game, although he was a handful on a couple plays. But if you're going to play at this level, we know that it's got to be just a little bit better, and that's the expectation. But I think this is a sign that Pochettino saying the only way we're going to get better, or he's going to get better, so we give him games, right? He's not going to get up to speed with international football. Sort of the level of play if you don't give him an opportunity. So our hope is that we establish, look, I still personally think in the 9 position, we're not going to know who the 9 is until maybe a month out from the World Cup, because I think it's going to be like the hottest guy at that time, because we really have nobody that has stepped up and said, this is my position. I'm the guy. Poach, I'm your guy. Count on me. We haven't seen that yet for many of these guys.
I think this is like what I was trying to say before, and this is a big piece of it, is like, for me personally, I don't think you go into a national team or any team and you say, who's the best number 9 we can play? Because one of the things that's a positive for the U.S. and one of the things that's a negative is all the strikers are different. Sargent's different than Balogun. Balogun is different than some of the strikers that have tonight. White is different than – they're all different.
Yep.
You have to know how you're going to play. Do you want the center forward that's going to hold balls and be good in the box? Do you want the center forward that's going to stretch lines and be good 1v1 and maybe be a nightmare for center backs? Do you want the physical guy? Do you want the guy that's more technical? You have to know. And so that's why I think it's just dangerous. It feels like a little bit like the U.S. is behind the 8 ball in terms of, personnel and rosters, like giving guys games. Like at some point you need to know, this is how we want to play, and this is who is best for us in those situations. The fact that Sargent's not here, we covered them all year in the championship. He had a fantastic season. Even with injury, he put up decent numbers, but forget about his numbers. He connects play. He does things that I don't think a lot of other guys can do in the men's national team. Yeah, okay, you want to say it's for Norwich in the championship. That's another conversation. But
hey, you don't want to get me started on that.
You have to know. I think you have to know what you want. It might not be the best number 9. It might not be the shiniest piece, but it might be the piece that fits the way you want to play best. And right now it's not clear.
There's a picture here of Dwight York on the bench for Trinidad and Tobago. I actually got to play against him in Trinidad, and I scored my first U.S. international goal against Trinidad in Trinidad on the pitch with Dwight York, and he took us out after the game. It was epic. But now,
how'd you score, Charlie? What was the goal like?
It was a cross from Josie, and I got on the end of it.
A cross from Josie?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sure, that actually happened.
Actually, yeah. I don't know if it was Mo or Josie. I can't remember which one.
Before your head?
One of them guys is gonna be real. One of them is gonna be really pissed right now.
Yeah. I got my left foot on it. But no, it was just to have that feeling to finally score for the full team was special on the road in a World Cup qualifier. But we're about to start. I know we're going to get into a lot of the noise from this week, and I'm really curious to hear both of your takes on not only what Christian said and what Pochettino's response was, but also some of the other former players that are in media now and navigating that space. But right now we're 22 seconds in. U.S. are in possession. Freeman, the young up and comer, we talked about that, Tony, watching him with Orlando. On the right, Chris Richards playing that right center back. Tim Ream. I think in a game like this really suits Tim Ream because Trinidad aren't really going to be keeping possession and causing him to kind of come out to the touchline, so to speak. So he can dictate possession. Great ball to Diego Luna here. Oof. He wins the foul.
One thing about Luna is his first thought is thinking about putting you under pressure, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes he dribbles into areas that seem to make no sense when you're looking at it, like this one here, and then he draws a foul here. So he's good in those moments there. But I like the fact that it's thought number one is, and Grella, you'd be the best one to sort of explain what this does throughout the game is. You put a guy under pressure, and then from the first minute, then he's got to think all the time. If you keep going back and back and back because you want to be safe, because it's the first minute in the attacking half of the field, you don't become dangerous for me. But I love his attitude going forward.
Yeah, I mean, right, the ultimate attacker thing is this ball's coming in now. The ultimate thing is you don't have to have a great game. You just need to keep trying. You've tried 10 times. If one of them comes off, everyone's screaming your praises on the goal you scored or the chance you created, right? So you want to see guys like Luna get in the game fast and start quick and be aggressive to go at guys and get in difficult spaces for the opponent, versus sometimes we watch some top players, especially number 10s, that, you watch 45 minutes and you don't know. It's like they're like Houdini. You don't see them. You don't know where they are. You don't even know if they played the game. So good to see him have a quick start.
Right now, Freeman's in possession, and you could see Trinidad's playing in a mid to low block. Once it gets by the front two, Molino there sitting as that number 10, really the only attacking player that I know that could really, hurt the U.S. if he's given the opportunity. But this is a team that's going to come and try and just disrupt the U.S., be physical. I don't mind this right now. U.S. just trying to get into a rhythm, find the game, right? You don't have to rush, keep possession. Good, all about ball movement. Good running off the ball. You see Max Arfson. Oh, he got lucky, I think, there. But you don't want to do some of these young guys, right, Tony Grella, that trying to do too much to try and make an impression.
Yeah, well, we saw this against Turkey. The first 15 minutes, they pinged the ball around pretty well, and then they took that gut punch and didn't react. But this is good stuff here. They're making Trinidad sort of chase the ball around, and make it difficult to get out of areas. So it's really well done. You mentioned Freeman. I'm excited to see him over the next couple of games, just to see how he manages a couple games in a row. His first international, obviously, full competition. So this is a real challenge for him. I told you a couple months ago, I really like his pattern and where he's going. I hope he can grow into a national team player.
Oh, what a ball! Get there!
Oh. Oof. Ajima, good turn. Who was that flicked it on?
I don't.
Was that
I don't.
Tillman? Was that Tillman?
Yeah, I think right now. So you can see De La Torre plays a beautiful ball in the Tillman. Oh,
yeah, Tillman. What a
Tillman!
pass!
Eyes in the back of his head. He might have been like what? Maybe just a hair offside.
He might have been a hair offside. Yeah,
but he looked a little offside. But still, what a good start.
I also don't think he was prepared for that pass. It was he was reactive in that case, and I think that's the difference when you're playing in MLS. In some instances, that pass rarely comes. So again, I think he's still trying to grow into this role. You know, he's a raw player with a lot of talent, a lot of potential. But again, it's like, okay, now I know how Tillman plays. I got to be maybe a step or two ahead of the pass. Tim Ream looks obviously comfortable. I love Diego Luna. He's trying to put his stamp on the game early. He's getting a lot of touches.
But you see that when he played it back to Richards. But what was his first thing? He looked forward. He's looking for options. You can always go back, right? You can always take the safe route.
My worry, looking with 5 minutes into the game, with 5 minutes into the game, but the worry with Luna, I see the comments too. He's popping into the spots. He's getting on the balls, getting in the game. Awesome. You always want to see your number 10 do that. But he's also like 40, 50 yards away from the goal where the magic happens, where the danger is. That you want your number 10 there creating numerical advantages by the goal. So, all right, I understand first 5 minutes, getting into the game, getting on the ball. Trinidad are a little bit deep, like Charlie said, so fine. But let's see as the game progresses where his average position is.
I think just to build off that, Grella, I would just say maybe for these first 6 minutes, he's just trying to get a sense of, will they come out? Are they going to stay in that shape? Are they, maybe if I can pull one or two guys out just to see what that looks like versus, hey, these guys, no matter where I go, they're going to stay in that low block and just have an idea. Oh, okay, here we go, Jack. McGlynn playing a 1-2 with the right foot. Yeah, he's not using that right. Top of the box.
Remember, Luna playing as a winger, right? So the one thing he's probably not going to do is get down the line and put crosses in. So the expectation is probably that Arston comes in. It's Malik Tillman playing as the true 10 in this one. But we've seen this now 2 games. I'm a little bit surprised we don't see it. Oh, Berhalter, that was Berhalter on that one. A little bit surprised we don't see it reversed at some points. We didn't see it against Switzerland, but heck, we didn't touch the ball against Switzerland. So I suppose maybe we'll get an idea today if there's some rotation there.
Jack McGlynn with the corner. It was a good ball. Tillman's there to receive it at the top of the box. And we go backwards. Arfson plays back to the keeper. Early on in the game, okay, you want to get back to reset, see if Trinidad will come higher up the pitch. But is there a way to keep the pressure on Trinidad? I would like to see that they go back to the flank and then put in another cross into the box since you have numbers. But Freeman's look good so far. McGlynn playing forward. Tillman, he's got 2. Okay, McGlynn. See, that's my thing with McGlynn. I don't know if you guys see it. Obviously, he's not a winger, and he's always going to come naturally into his left foot from the outside. So, what's that balance look like? And in certain instances, you got to be a little bit quicker on the ball. So, I don't know if this is a long-term play from Pochettino or just a Gold Cup, experiment.
You know what it's like too, Charlie, is like when you don't play with the same guys all the time. So, like, as a winger, you cut inside, and if you play with the same striker all the time or the same 2 strikers, okay, he's going to spin now. Okay, he's going to pop up now. I can play it around the corner. Like these guys, a lot of these guys don't have a lot of games together. And when you start drawing the patterns across the field, all these little triangles and squares that they're playing in, you've got to still learn the guys, what the guy likes, what he doesn't like, what makes him tick, what he's good at, what he's not good at. So when you watch these games and you see these little bit cheap giveaways from McGlynn as well, I think that's part of it. That people are saying, like, these guys are not playing week in and week out together. There's been a lot of change in rotation with the U.S. in the last couple months and the last couple of years, really.
Oh, we got somebody from Gambia, the country of my father. Ilyas Abs, sup from Gambia, go USA. I love to see that. Banjul all the way. Nungadef. We got did you guys see Marsh's comments about Canadian players wanting to play? I know, Tony, you have a lot to say about that.
He just can't stay away, right?
Yo, Grella,
But-
what do you make of it? I mean, it's Tony. You have a former U.S. international, albeit maybe had 1 or 2 caps, but this is an American who wanted this U.S. job, and at every chance he gets, he wants to talk about the U.S. men's national team. Do you find it to be, infuriating? Do you find it to be just irritating? Do you find it just to be whatever?
Well, at some point you got to go, and I see the comment. He gets asked about it. Yeah, at some point you got to go. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about my team, right? Like, but I don't know that's really Jesse to stay away from it.
Yeah, I love that pass from Tim Ream. Luna's in a good pocket. Just
like that connection there. Like that connection doesn't come off. Okay, the timing, like these guys don't always play with each other. Like I was saying earlier, he's in a great little pocket there on the half turn, and then this connection doesn't come off. And you could look at this and be like, oh, that's not good enough. And it's probably not good enough. But the truth is, like, these are the things that have to get sharper at leading up to the World Cup, and they will as players play more with each other and as the understanding of how they're going to play is, every week. But I'll agree with Tony, with Jesse. I love Jesse. Obviously, I spent a couple of years with him at New York Red Bull, very successful in our time there together. I think even when I watched him at Leeds, I think the media sometimes sort of, in a way, just can get you into trouble.
Yeah, they want that drama.
Yeah, and I think they, like Tony says, also they ask you a question, you're going to answer the question, then it's going to get ripped out of context, and it's going to look like you're saying all these different things. So I don't know if I ever get a crack at it one day.
No, Grella, stop it. We're talking about Jesse Marsh. This is Princeton. Jesse Marsh. He's not doing anything that's getting taken out. He knows exactly what he's saying, what he's doing. He's trying to drive it in.
I think it takes two, right? It takes two to tango. Is that what they say? So
yeah,
it's like he feeds into these questions. Yeah, good chance here for the U.S.
What a ball from Max Arfson. This is when Max Arfson's at his best with the Columbus Crew, right?
This is where Ajiman needs to be at his best.
Yes,
right here.
And it's a beautiful ball, and Ajiman he misses with the header. That's what you expect from the big man. You don't need to be refined in terms of your hold up playing and one touch, but a ball in the box, that's what you should have been working on your whole life. And by the way, I got to address this from Danny Greenwald. He said, Charlie turning into a hypocrite. He ragged on this heartbeat jersey, then wears one. I'm the one who came up first and said, I absolutely love this heartbeat jersey. So come on, Danny. You get your
but you didn't wear it, did you? You have wore the other thing the last two shows.
Yeah, because I wore it to the game in Hartford. So can't be watching wearing it every day.
You already had one Instagram picture with that on? Is that right?
That's all you needed.
I got you.
The one, but hey, I'm rocking it now. You are not.
This was the next T-shirt on top of the pile. My wife's away, so Charlie, I can right on top of the pile. That's it.
There you go. And we have a special guest I want to bring onto the scene. Paul Tenorio from The Athletic. Let's go live from the stadium. Tenorio, what are you seeing?
Well, I've found my way to an outdoor spot to come onto this feed here. I'm amongst the people, as I know you want to be. And I'm watching Malik coming now, coming up the right side. So I don't know if I'm ahead of you guys where I am. Obviously, I'm watching it live. I think it's been an okay start for the U.S. so far here today.
So talk to me about the response from Mauricio Pochettino ahead of this game to the Christian interview conversation we had on Call It What You Want. I think he addressed a lot of frustrations that he maybe had been keeping in throughout this process. I think one being, hey, tell the American public I wanted to be there for the friendlies, but I just needed a break from the Gold Cup. And Pochettino, how did he take that?
Yeah, not well. You didn't take it well, Charlie. I think, he drew a line in the sand yesterday, right? He said, look, no one is going to tell me, no player is going to tell me when they play, whether they want to play just 2 friendlies and then the Gold Cup or not. We wanted him here for the whole summer, and when he said he didn't want to be here for the whole summer, we decided that we were going to go with the guys who did. We wanted to use the friendlies to prepare for the Gold Cup. He said, for us, for me, the Gold Cup is an important tournament. And obviously, the big quote that stood out was, when I signed my contract, it said I'm the head coach, not a mannequin. He wanted to make clear that he was in charge, and I think he did so.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised at the reaction because Christian said in that statement, I respect his decision. He was just telling a story. He said, but I don't understand it, but I respect the decision. Every player goes through that. Every player's had that with their managers. You don't agree with everything the manager does, but he said he respected. I still think this is all on U.S. Soccer because we haven't gotten into Weston McKennie being available, Eunice no different, Timothy Weah being available, and Gio being available because guys played in those friendlies that are playing in the Club World Cup. So they could have been available for those. They're not available for this. And we said a month ago, Charlie, I'd rather see my full team playing against those two teams.
Get there. It's on his right.
Oh.
Well done.
Yes.
Well done. Really
Let's
well done.
go.
Good patience.
I knew
spoilers here.
Hey, good
spoilers here. I kept it calm. My favorite thing. But I waited for y'all to catch up to me to go for
man, what a goal. I knew once it was on the right foot of McGlynn, he wasn't taking a shot. Anyone else, they're taking that shot. Anyone else. But it's a good pressure from Ajivan. He wins the ball back from Trinidad and Tobago. And then I think Jack McGlynn plays a beautiful ball. That nice, it's a beautifully floated ball to the back post. Tillman, great first touch, and just slips it near post. I love the early opportunities that the U.S. are creating and the press, putting Trinidad under pressure when they do have the ball at their feet.
And guys, I would say out of anyone on this roster, one player who's really got an opportunity to put a stamp on his place in this team is Malik Tillman. This is a guy who has a chance to win a starting job, maybe even for the World Cup. He needs to score goals. He needs to create goals. He needs to show how badly he wants it. He's been in good form with PSV. Can that translate to country? And I thought he had a good game against Turkey, and now a goal here in the Gold Cup opener. This is what you want to see from Malik Tillman.
I'm curious, Paul, with your time around Pochettino, have you gotten a sense as to who he's really favoring at the moment? Who has he liked the most? Which players have really impressed him over this short amount of time that he's been with them?
I don't think he's favoring anyone yet. I think he's like a blank slate. Obviously we see he's got a soft spot for Diego Luna for sure. The desire that he wants to kind of hold Diego Luna out for the rest of the team to say, bring that attitude. But from a pure soccer standpoint, I think he really is still trying to say to everybody, show me what you can do. Show me who you are, why you should be my guy. And this summer was meant, I think, to try to create more opportunity for players to get on that list of his favorites. But, I don't know that there are that many favorites right now.
I'm absolutely loving the way that they're moving the ball. It looks crisp. There's good movement off the ball. Oh, Max Arfson again cuts it back to his favorite right foot. Ooh! He tries to bend it to the far post, but these boys are playing today. I know it.
Yeah, movement's good. Movement's good.
I know it's not against Switzerland. It's not against Turkey. I obviously I'm aware that this is Trinidad and Tobago and not the old Trinidad and Tobago where you got a lot more players with quite some quality. But this is I think a step forward because they're starting to look like they know what they're trying to do. There's a little bit more of an identity here. Grella.
These games are trap games. You got to win these games, and they're difficult. And somebody put in our comments before, there's not that many people at the game, so probably energy is not great. Maybe the highest that it can be inside the stadium. Obviously, first match of the Gold Cup, they're under a bit of pressure, but you can only beat what's in front of you. They are playing against a bunch of mannequins, from what I've seen so far at the moment. Trinidad Tobago side that's deep has no answers on the counter. They don't look organized. U.S. is happy to play in the spaces. They're probably playing the most comfortable game they're going to play in a very long time. 90 minutes in, they get a goal from a quick giveaway. But this is all credit to them and what they're doing and the energy and the application to the game. By the way, the goal, McGlynn, unbelievable composure. To Tillman, unbelievable composure. So all positives 20 minutes through, but take it with a grain of salt, I think, because it's against the guys that, to me, this team doesn't look prepared to play at all. I mean, they can't get out.
Tenorio, I want to ask you one more question, and that's about the stadium, the vibe. How full is it? You know, how optimistic are the fans? Have you felt any tension? Give us kind of the lowdown.
I would say it's maybe looking around like 70% full. Like there's certain sections that are wide open that you guys can probably see on TV. It's kind of on the opposite side of the camera. But the home side, the bench side is pretty filled, and behind the goal over here is pretty filled. And the vibes are positive. And the U.S. is playing well. I thought it was really important for this team to come out and start this game well because things have been so negative around the U.S. team. Obviously, 4 straight losses, 2 losses for this group, specifically as the friendlies. They need a result. You need anytime you can start a tournament to win. That's really important. But I thought a goal early would really help the confidence of this team, and you can see it. You know, in the last few minutes, the way the team is pressing, they sense that they have the opportunity to maybe get another one, and I think they're feeling good about themselves. That hasn't happened for a while, and I don't think there's much tension or anything like that in the stadium right now. I think it's mostly positive, and that's a good thing for this U.S. team because that's kind of what they need right now. There hasn't been a whole ton of positivity around this group, at least not in the last year or so.
Paul, I absolutely appreciate you joining us from the stadium. Awesome. Enjoy the rest of the game. We might come back to you.
Thanks, pal.
If you see anything crazy, hey, let us know. We'll get you back on.
No problem. I'll come back on. I'll give both of you guys heck about what you're wearing, what shirts you got on. I hope you guys, Tony, have a great Father's Day. I don't know, Grella.
Thanks, pal. You as well.
Grella, happy Father's Day to all you guys.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the game.
Same to you.
Hey, bud.
Thank you.
All right, so we are 22 minutes into the game. Are you, Grella, Tony, are you surprised at all about how positive these first 22 minutes have been? I know the opponent is not the best opponent in Concacaf, but are you still a little impressed of where they are right now?
I'm impressed because if it were the other way around, we would be complaining, right? If they didn't have any rhythm in this game, if they weren't being able to string passes together, dominating possession, creating chances, we would be complaining. So I would say we're doing what we should be doing in this game, right? Because we all are, right? We're really quick to criticize when things don't go well. We got to at least give them credit for when things are going okay. You know, Grella said these are kind of trap games. They have been in the past. It's not like we've rolled over all of these teams, in the past. So give them credit for what they're doing. Understand the moment, who it's against, and all that stuff. They're doing their job right now.
Yeah, listen, like I said, 22 minutes, you'd have to be super happy with what you see so far. And I think it's obvious that there's more gears, that they have more gears to hit, that there's going to be better connections, like I've mentioned before. So 22 minutes in, you have to be happy with what you're getting and what you're seeing so far, because these games are not always straightforward, too. I think what's also interesting for the U.S. is, do we know their FIFA rank?
Trinidad?
No, the U.S.
I was going to say
we
Trinidad.
were in the teens this week. I saw someone post. We were in the teens.
But when you're in that position, also is like you're going to play teams that you're a lot better than, like this one, right? This is a totally different game than playing against Switzerland or playing against Turkey, in that you're going to have to break down a low block. You're going to have to break down. You're going to have to be patient, pop up in pockets, and do all these different things. It demands a different recipe to win the game versus Switzerland, where must be more transitional. You might be more on the back foot. Defensively, you have to be more sound. So it's a different exercise, I think, than the two friendlies they just played. But it's an exercise that's not straightforward. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, we should beat Trinidad and Tobago. Well, come on. Go and play a game of football against some of these teams, and it's not as straightforward and as easy as you think. So they've done a really good job through the first quarter of the game.
Oh, it's never as easy as
Never easy, Charlie. People that
never.
don't play, or they watch. Oh yeah, we should always beat them. Oh yeah, we should take care. I mean, the FA Cup, right? Some of these games where you play against teams that are not these guys. Some of these guys are not even pros. If they're organized and they want it and they give you a hard time, I mean, it's nothing is straightforward in football. That's why we love to watch it, because there's no really easy game. So they've really controlled this. I think another thing that probably is not so obvious maybe is the press after loss. Like, they've pressed the ball unbelievable after loss and they've won it back. That's always kind of a good team.
Oh, what a ball.
Oh, making another one. Oh, oh, Diego went for the little chip, little scoop. Dink. Yeah, the dink and didn't come off. Oh, man.
Wow. What a ball from McGlynn, though. What a ball McGlynn laid in.
We are live right now on the Watchalong YouTube. Live Watchalong on YouTube right now with my guys, Tony Miola and Mike Grella. Call it what you want. USA versus Trinidad. What a ball.
That is some ball, man. This is what he does well.
Jack McGlynn
this ball is perfect. But you have to finish these.
You got to finish that chance.
The goalkeeper did a pretty good job, though, man, keeping his hands up. And
the goalkeeper was fantastic on it. No question. He made it difficult for Luna. Was the first touch killed him because it gets away from him. Again, no. But, like, I'm just thinking down the line. We're going to rate this team in the World Cup and how far they get in the World Cup. That's ultimately what we're going to rank them on. Before that, it's going to be all noise and smoke and everything else. And this guy doesn't want to play and that guy wants to play and Pochettino said this and everything else. This team's going to get ranked. Their report card's going to come out on what they do in the World Cup in a year's time. And those chances have to be put away against big teams, against good teams, against if you come up in a quarterfinal, if you come up in a round of 16 against a good opposition, those chances.
Bro, I'll go right back to Christian Pulisic against the Netherlands. He's got a ball that pops out to him. He's one-on-one with the keeper, and it doesn't go in. It's 0-0 at that point. If the U.S. score that early goal, guess what? They don't get exposed on those cutback balls.
Totally different game. Goals change
completely different. Because then they're not pushing and getting stretched like they were in midfield in transition. Because again, they were out coached if that goal doesn't go in.
Totally agree. Charlie, even this goal, for instance, all right, fine. First game of the Gold Cup against Trinidad. By the way, U.S. was minus 2,000 coming into this game. So if you're a gambler, you'd have to put $2,000 down to win $100. That's how lopsided this game was. But he puts this goal away just for conversation's sake. It's 2-0. It's hot out. Trinidad's already under the cosh. They can't breathe. This game's pretty much done, and it becomes even easier for the U.S., I think. But because he doesn't, now it's still only 1-0. They get into halftime. Fluky little set-piece goal, and all of a sudden we're having a conversation after the game. Oh, this was a disaster and everything else. So goals change games, and that was a big opportunity.
Right now, we're getting great comments. Wise Owl. McGlynn needs to be on the roster. His playmaking ability is needed with the players we have. Now, if we have Timothy Weah, we have Weston McKennie, we have Gio Reyna, we have Yunus Musa. I don't think Jack McGlynn sees the field as a starter. But that's not to say what from a year out from now.
Got to be deeper if he does, right? He's got to be deeper in the field. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you see a move in his future, Tony? Do you think he needs to stay in MLS?
We've been hearing Europe for Jack McGlynn for 3 or 4 years, right? And a little bit surprised he made the move to Houston. But if you play with him as a winger, you're committing to, okay, that side of the field is not going to go take players on. That's not how we're going to interpret that position today. It's going to be interpreted a little bit different. And maybe something like a diagonal ball that he just played to Diego Luna is going to be the story of how he plays that position. But he's a completely different profile. I think he's a little deeper player. Like we saw, although we didn't agree with it, good opportunity again here. I didn't agree with it against Panama playing with 2 holding midfielders. And then him coming in. That's his position, right? That's where I think he strives. Long diagonal balls. You don't normally see wingers doing that, right? That's not really what they're there for. No. So you're gonna have to look at it a little bit different if that's what Poch wants to do. Or is it? Sorry, Charlie. Or is it he's just trying to get who he thinks is one of his best. We've seen this with Yunus Musa, one of his best players on the field.
Yeah, I was going to say, just in terms of McGlynn playing in that right wing spot, more of like an advanced midfielder who comes inside. Then if you have Dest, right, that's your essentially your winger. Ooh, nearly catches the keeper at the near post. But when McGlynn comes in like that, and you have Dest as that right fullback, that right back that just keeps bombing up and down, there are times where McGlynn has to make that cover run, and he doesn't have the pace to cover that much ground in a short amount of time. So again, it's finding balance, and I think that comes with which opponent you're playing against, right?
Charlie, I totally agree with finding balance. Like, this is what I'm saying, though. Like, there's not just like a winger. Like, there's wingers that are fast and great 1v1, right? There's wingers that are like, I don't know, you can think of a million examples that are great on the move or on the run, and they're lightning quick, and they're going to put you on your back foot all the time. Then there's wingers, like there's guys that are like false number 10s. They start on the wing and they come inside, or they add a bit of quality. They slow the games down. McGlynn, to me, seems like he's a guy that likes to come inside and give good delivery, good service. You have to know what characteristic you want in what spot. Maybe on one side you want that guy that gives you the threat behind, the threat 1v1, which in football in modern times you need. And maybe then you want a bit of quality on the other side. Like, you have to know exactly what you're looking for. It's not as simple as, oh, well, this guy's better than this guy, so this guy should play. No, I think it's the characteristic of those players that's very important.
So based on what like, just think about what Grella's saying. If he were the same player on the other side of the field and you got Anthony Robinson playing there, then it's not so bad, right? Because, Anthony Robinson's getting up and down the field, and now you got somebody cutting in. Now, we don't have well, we do have it with Dest, but does he doesn't get up nearly as much as Anthony Robinson does. He does it a little bit differently, so maybe that works that way. But again, I think the winger position in this group, based on how Pochettino has been playing, it'd be a tough spot to break in. I would think we all kind of have Timothy Weah penciled in at that spot. Doesn't mean we don't need another winger.
We just don't know which side, know, because if Christian and Weah are the wingers, right, you just don't know, is one right, one left, because Christian can play left or right, or the 10. We've heard Pochettino talk about Christian playing as a 10, like a Christian Eriksen.
He does come inside with Poch, right? He does come inside. So, who knows it? But Mike said, so it's just, what characteristics is the manager looking for? And I don't know that we have a real idea yet of how Pochettino wants to approach all of this.
Oh. So I want to get your take right now on Sebastian Berhalter, because coming into the Gold Cup, right, he's absolutely earned a call-up. He's been sensational for Vancouver. But he seems to not have really put in a foot wrong since being in with this U.S. men's national team.
This game he hasn't. He's done every. This game he's connected every pass. He's gone and closed lanes. I've been watching him in particular in the midfield. I know the rest of the guys, but this game so far, he's been pretty good.
He's been taking up great spots. His starting position.
He's getting open ball. Now. He's open now. Oof.
Ooh.
Another good spot. Wow, gets a good play. That's a good play, man.
So I trained with Berhalter. He was at Columbus. Obviously, his dad signed me, and I went over there, and his son would come into the team as a young kid and play and train with us. And I would always say to Greg, I was like, I'm so impressed with how many tools he had, and he's got so many facets to his game. Obviously, he's got a lot of the tricks of the trade because his dad is Greg, and he knew how to train. He knew how to be a professional. He was great in the gym, good technique, good all around player. And he would always say, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. He's okay. We'll see. But he's a sneaky good player. Like he has a lot of tools, maybe not the biggest, maybe not the strongest, but really smart kid. He's definitely having a good game in the first 35 minutes of this one.
Right now, Berhalter on the ball, plays wide. McGlynn, he's been good today as well. Just coming inside, he's very comfortable in that position.
Oh,
that's a tough tackle. I want to see a replay of that.
Who was,
Was that Freeman? I think it was
Freeman,
right?
Freeman.
It was a good combination play. Oof, that's a tough one, man. Get up, son.
Yeah, please tell me that nothing
Get
happened
up.
there. Let's see. Luna lays it back.
Oh,
I don't know. To me,
that's a red for me when you say
that's
a red card.
borderline red.
I mean, that's a red card.
That's
right?
a red card for me.
Holy cow.
When you come in like a scissors like that, that's a red card for me.
I mean, you got real no intention, no really big chance of getting the ball there. Just a little crazy tackle there. And what did he get? Did he get a card? I don't even think he got a card.
Yeah, he got a yellow.
Oh, he got a yellow.
Was it yellow?
That was straight reckless, but I think with the force that could have been a red card for me.
I could see it as a yellow too. I could see it not wanting to ruin the game too early, but stupid challenge.
That's a tackle that we see in training when you get mad, Grella.
Oh, that's the tackle. Like that's the one that makes you go just want to go in after that. It's nasty. I trained with Lawless Abubakar at Columbus also, man. God. Oh.
Was that Freeman again? It would have been
Yes.
great for him to, yeah. It would
have been anywhere but there. It's a goal. Anywhere but there.
Quick karma right there.
Yeah. Oh man, he does a good job of getting in front of the defender.
The U.S.
The
U.S. have been money with the delivery.
Deliveries have been good. Yeah, it's been McGlynn and it's been Berhalter.
I mean, just pay attention to the press after loss, though. I mean, they put Trinidad in a really difficult game here. They put Trinidad in a game that they don't want to play in. It's just been too quick. They just put up a stat: 10 shots, 4 on goal. Trinidad got 0 and 0. And by the way, I don't think Trinidad's had possession in the other half of the field at all. So this is a pretty good performance from the U.S. And this is, we said earlier, we want to see how they're going to play. This is suffocating brand of football right now at the moment. This is really positive first half.
Yeah, I like the shape right now. They have Luca Della Torre and Sebastian Berhalter as the two base midfielders that come back to kind of try and see if they can pull the Trinidadian attackers out. And then you have Tillman coming in between. Max Arfson, he's pushed up. Diego Luna's on the touchline. I don't know if he was on. Look at Tim Ream getting back. Who said he ran out of pace? He's got enough.
I think it was you that said it.
Yeah, it definitely was me.
Good reactions.
Hey, Freeman looks really comfortable too, because remember, he went from young player jumping into a full international spot. You're playing against Turkey, it's a lot for a young player. But he looks like he's caught up with the expectations and almost the level and the tempo.
Charlie, I'm not surprised, and I don't mean to be disrespectful. At this level, I would expect him to feel comfortable, right? When I told you, I watch him play, and I would expect that he's comfortable against Trinidad and Tobago, that he's comfortable against who do we have? Saudi Arabia and Haiti, right? Like I want to see him against Mexico. I want to see him against Canada. Actually, might be a great game for him because they're a bunch of athletes. They make the game physical. They run at you all the time. That would be a great test for him. So being comfortable in this game is great. And I don't want to take anything away from him, but I'm not surprised at all. By the way, Dwight York must live in the gym. His bed must be in the gym. Look how fit he is.
He looks more fit than he did when we played against him back in 2009. Or 2008.
Charlie, Tony lives in the gym. We were just down in North Carolina. Guy was in the gym every day.
I was bored, bro. I was bored all day.
Grella, every time he goes to a hotel, he's got to be on the gym floor.
I do. Well, he knows.
He's a gym rat. He said, hey, he checks in. He says, hey, where's the gym? All right, put me right next to it.
Tony's in great shape, man.
Yeah, Freeman, I'm happy for him, man. I'm happy. Hopefully he continues to look. He's 20 years old, right? I don't
Yeah, he's
think
20.
he's
He's
much.
20.
Is he 20?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he's still young.
And he's coming inside a lot, and this is like the Pep Guardiola, right? The right back comes inside the wing.
Oh, great ball from Berhalter.
Ooh.
Aye.
Again, that little connection, that's a chance, that's a goal there. It has to end on a chance there, but obviously not coming off. But Freeman coming inside in that, like, when the right backs come inside and play in the midfield, they add an extra number, and then the wingers go wide. You got to be comfortable on the football there, and he really does here. And again, not to take anything away in the first half, but I think the challenge for the U.S. is you play Trinidad and Tobago, and then you play Canada, right? The level there is so different. Or you play the friendlies against Turkey and Switzerland, and then you play Trinidad and Tobago. So talking about two totally different tests. They look different, and it's different levels as well. I think substantially different, and that's challenging,
It's tough. It's tough to grade center backs. Really the back line in a match like this, but in terms of defending, but you can get a good sense of if they are given time. What's that decision making process like? How crisp are they on the ball? Can they play different types of passes? Are they only playing sideways or safe?
Charlie, can you look where Freeman is now? He's playing in the wing. He's just playing as a winger. Now he's coming into the midfield. He's pinched in inside.
Yes.
Really good stuff. And that's here we go.
Come on. Get in there.
McGlynn
for the tap in.
No, Tillman.
Tillman.
That's two for Tillman.
The Tillman with the brace, the first half brace.
I think it's 2 goals in 20 appearances with the national team now. So probably not enough, but really good start. And I think he's an elite player, man. Watching him play at Champions League football and watching him play at PSV, he scored some really good goals. This one.
Yeah, I think we've just been waiting, right? We've been waiting, Grell, for him to play well with the U.S. team because it's not been great for Tillman with a U.S. jersey. Although the one time he came in against Jamaica in the 6 role was actually his best performance. But yeah, this is Luna doing a lot of hard work, just being opportunistic and picking off a back pass and 2 runners in the box and a good layoff and easy finish for Tillman. So taking advantage. It's a big second goal, right? It takes a lot of pressure, doesn't it, off of the rest of the stuff that's going on here in this game.
And for Jones, that's his second giveaway, right? He gave away the first goal, gave away the second goal. And also, the thing to note in the first half is with all the good football that the U.S. has played and all the chances they created, the 2 goals came from pressing the ball, winning the ball, and going quick in 1 or 2 passes and scoring the goal. So definitely a weapon of theirs, being able to be aggressive, press the football, win it back quick, and go quick. That's where the goals are coming from.
Man, so far so good. Malik Tillman, but I'm really impressed with Berhalter and Luca Del Torre, just their movement in midfield, playing. Everyone seems to know, hey, enough of the safe sideways passes. The intent is to score goals, to get forward, and we're seeing that. So it's a turnover for McGlynn. Chris Richards wins it right back. Diego Luna on it, plays forward to McGlynn. What's he gonna do? He tries to play that ball to Tillman in that scene. Oh.
But not a bad step by Berhalter there, right?
No.
It's called for foul, but he's in position.
Perfect.
A bit of a soft foul. Yeah, it's perfect.
Here it is. Oh, Luna anticipates that. He saw that was page 1. That was the table of contents. Reads that pass and then plays a perfectly weighted pass across for Tillman in the tap.
Luna got the little handlebar mustache going, or what?
Today, yeah, he put it on with the blonde hair. Yeah. Can you pull that off or no?
Right now, yeah, I got a pretty long mustache. Actually, if I put some gel in here, some wax.
Freeman just got whacked again.
Yeah, he took one to
the ball.
Boy.
Hey, what do we got here? 1-on-1.
What a ball.
Take him. Whoop, and finish. Yeah, 3-0. Diego Luna just keeps on rising. His stock is high. his stock is high.
Charlie, this is what I'm saying. Like when the chances have to finish in gold, right? Like that was quality. That would look like a number 10 that I'm interested in watching play. Like he just had the knife out there and he killed. Like no remorse, no room for error. He came 1v1, boom, gets a shot off, little deflection goal. And by the way, this is the first time Trinidad has really stepped out and kind of put themselves in the U.S.
Was that Tillman?
They smelt the blood. Yeah.
What a ball.
Look at the 1v1.
Oh, Ajiman goal, huh? That's an Ajiman goal.
Is it?
Yeah.
It is. It
hit
a
Ajiman
goal.
All right, Luna. No credit for you, buddy. You got the assist.
I say this is the best goal out of all of them because they smelt the blood in the water here. They knew that Trinidad was up the field and they found the pass. Boom, quick 1-2 passes. There's been
who was the diagonal? Who was that Tillman with the diagonal?
I'd love to know. We got.
That's a great pass, by the way.
Phenomenal ball into space. I need to get my wine out. It's like the Beckham friends watch along. Let's all start pouring wine.
I got a bourbon and a stogie here. This is
okay.
They were drinking $400 bottle of wines at the Beckham and Friends.
Yeah, you got $1,000 scotch right there, huh?
This is a little American bourbon, bro, for the U.S. national team.
Okay, I like that. What we talking? What kind of bourbon?
I got a Henry McKenna in here actually right now. Really, really good brand of bourbon. And then little Arturo Fuentes stogie. But this first half, man, has made me really excited actually. Really quality, like mature. And we talk about maturity all the time, right? It's quality performance from this team.
And Tony, I know it goes without saying, not getting too high, right? Not getting too low when it's bad, not getting too high when it's good. But given the tumultuous week, or let's say tumultuous 6 months, to be honest, how happy does this performance make you feel? Because it feels like for me, my heart is being filled because we haven't had enough positive rhetoric around this U.S. men's national team in a long time. And so with a young group of players who are trying to impress, who are trying to show a coach who's still trying to figure out things that they can take part next summer, I think is pretty encouraging given what we just saw. Yeah, no doubt. They're doing their job. This is where they should be. They look good. They look confident. And they're in a tournament. We always know in these tournaments, right? First game, most important game to try and build something. So let this young team get a little bit of rhythm. Let them get a little bit of confidence and see what they can do. But I don't think we could have asked much more from them in this game for 45 minutes. All right, we're going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere. We're going to chat about what we saw from some of these players, things that we liked, and maybe some players that will come in the second half and change the game for the U.S. men's national team. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
What's he like? The happy-faced killer?
You mean my dad? Be glad you never have to know.
You think that you're so much better than me.
You're just like your old man.
I'm not like you at all.
The crowd loves champions. Gladiator 2 is an epic spectacle.
Remarkable!
To amuse you is my only wish.
The glory is yours, not mine.
Very good. Gladiator 2, rated R, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
The most original musical ever is now streaming on Paramount Plus.
I'm just giving the people what they want.
Better Man absolutely sizzles from start to finish.
Wow!
Better Man, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
The clock never stops. Relive the greatest moments with uninterrupted highlights and more. It's Gareth Bale! Ronaldo! Wonderful goal! On the UEFA Champions League channel. Streaming free.
Get ready.
Wait a second. I thought we were going tubing.
All 3 Sonic the Hedgehog movies and Knuckles are now streaming on Paramount Plus.
And everyone loves it.
Every adventure,
Just try to keep up.
every face-off,
This ends now.
and every moment that will have you saying,
Where have you been? My entire life!
It's showtime!
all 3 Sonic the Hedgehog movies and the entire Sonic universe are now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Call It What You Want. I'm joined by Hall of Famer Tony Miola and my good old U.S. Youth Men's National Team strike partner, Mike Grella, the man, the myth, the serial legend for CBS. And we have to be thrilled with this U.S. Men's National Team first half, given how some of these youngsters have stepped up in a big moment, Tony.
Yeah, I'm happy for them, right? We're looking for some positivity. Clearly, we came into today expecting a win. We've been in these moments before where it's a team you're supposed to beat. I say that in air quotes, and then you don't beat them or you don't get the result you want. Again, I'll say what I said just before the half. We've gotten 3 goals out of this group. They've dominated the game. They've been on the front foot. Combinations have been good. I don't know what else we could possibly ask of this group to do against the Trinidad side. And I see some of the comments. I saw some comments. We've said time and time again, this is not Switzerland. This is not Turkey. So we're doing all of this in sort of that mode, right? And thinking that way. But you can't take away credit, Grell, for what these guys have done.
No, I think if you're a pessimist, you say, okay, it's against Trinidad and Tobago. If you're an optimist, you say this is a perfect first half. And the reality is it's perfect. Like, I don't know if they could have had a better first half. Maybe it could be 4-0. I don't know. But I think from the top to bottom, they've been perfect. They've dealt with the situation at hand. They can only play against who you put in front of them. And for me, the most impressive thing in the first half was the maturity to find sort of the danger right away. Win balls high up the field, the press after a loss. Has it been perfect? No. Some of the connections, no, not having been perfect. Maybe has it been the sharpest performance? Probably not. Is there room to grow? For sure, they're showing that. But it's been really good in the first half, like from top to bottom. Defenders comfortable in possession. Berhalter and De La Torre winning everything, pressing after the loss. The striker getting his goal. Luna all over the pitch, getting in the pocket. So you have to look at the first half if you're Pochettino and say, do that again in the second half. And can we do it now at a higher tempo, a higher connection, a little bit sharper? Because if they do, then we're looking at a really good first performance, which they needed because these are trap games. So really good start for them.
I have to say, I've been so impressed with some of these players today, given maybe we were expecting. I look at a Sebastian Berhalter who really stood out in this first half. Alex Freeman, another player who really stood out in this first half. Luca De La Torre, who he's been around the national team for a while. It felt like he took a break for a bit. He came to San Diego. But now with San Diego, he's been performing well. Their team has been performing well. And he's carried that form in with him to this national team setup. And we've seen Diego Luna. He's still taking positive steps forward. Malik Tillman finally put in a performance that correlates with his form with PSV. And Jack McGlynn, I still don't think there's one player that believes he is the right winger for the U.S. men's national team in the future. But I have to say, he's taken his chance extremely well. I mean, the early goal against Turkey gives him a boost of confidence. And in this game, the way he's able to dictate, he's got a special wand of a left foot, just the different types of service. He can open up a game. He's really performed well today. So there's not too many negatives here or spots where I go, man, we really need improvement.
Yeah, I think also too, Charlie, is like, let's go back now to being a little bit pessimistic. Let's talk about the reality of the fact that they're playing against Trinidad and Tobago, who were not good in the first half, and probably due to the credit of how good the U.S. was, right? Mm-hmm. But we talk about McGlynn, for example. Can he do it in a higher pace game where you have less space and less time to look up and less time to see options and less time to put the perfect technique on the ball? And that's the difference, I think, between the high level and the low level is the speed of those moments and the space of those moments, right? Because against the big teams, they're going to touch you, they're going to feel you, they're going to press you after loss. They're not going to give you time to breathe, pick up your head and play. Like, you look at the four defenders today, they've looked unbelievable because they've had so much time and they've had so much space to look up, play the pass they want, get it back, pop it here, pop it there. So they've been quite comfortable. Can they do it when there's less space, less time? We're going to find out as the tournament progresses. But again, this is what they've been put against, and they've answered the question, and they've done really well. And I think also we've seen a little bit what Pochettino wants to do. He wants to have the fullbacks come inside. He wants to have the wingers free movement. A lot of composed players on the ball. He wants the striker that, like Tony said earlier, maybe he's a little sloppy, but handful for the center back. So starting to take some shape in the first half, but we'll see. Still a second half to go. I think also, not to ramble too much, but like the second half for me is really important now, because can you go on and win 5-6-0 and continue the same energy levels and the same performance, same attention to detail, or is it going to be a 3-1 sort of floating into the finish line? Because that's important to me. That's important to Pochettino, I'm sure, as well. Like, dominate the game from start to finish, because the games are 90 minutes long. We've seen great teams all year long at CBS that can do a half of football. They can do 45 minutes of football. Can you do 90 minutes professional performance? 10 guys off the bench come in, add something else, catch the level, trap Trinidad, put them in a difficult game, and then continue to run up the scoring and make it look like, oh, this was a statement win? Because they have the opportunity now in the second half to do that.
I'm with you, Grella. Got to continue the energy levels and the intensity, not to just drop off and sit back. But we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Much more to come, and then we're going to take you live for the second half.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
What's he like? The happy-faced killer?
You mean my dad? Be glad you never have to know.
You think that you're so much better than me.
You're just like your old man.
I'm not like you at all.
The crowd loves champions. Gladiator 2 is an epic spectacle.
To amuse you is my only wish. The glory is yours, not mine.
Very good. Gladiator 2, rated R. Now streaming on Paramount Plus.
The most original musical ever is now streaming on Paramount Plus.
I'm just giving the people what they want.
Better Man absolutely sizzles from start to finish. Better Man, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
The clock never stops. Relive the greatest moments with uninterrupted highlights and more.
It's Gareth Bale. No goal. Wonderful goal.
On the UEFA Champions League channel. Streaming free.
And I won't look back.
get ready.
Wait a second. I thought we were going tubing.
All 3 Sonic the Hedgehog movies and Knuckles are now streaming on Paramount Plus.
And everyone loves it.
Every adventure,
Just try to keep up.
every face-off,
This ends now.
and every moment that will have you saying,
Where have you been? My entire life!
It's showtime.
all 3 Sonic the Hedgehog movies and the entire Sonic universe are now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Call It What You Want, the live stream of the U.S. Men's National Team match against the Trinidad and Tobago. 3-0 at the half. I mean, I'm so hyped. I'm joined with Tony Miola and Mike Grella. My question to you guys right off the bat, who is the player of the half and why?
I have to say Tillman, player of the half, with the goals and the long diagonal ball for the assist, and he's been all over the place and probably the player that needed it the most. I think Paul Tenorio touched on it a little bit earlier. This is a guy that is in the roster, right? He's in the fringe of the roster. He's not like some of these guys that are trying to make the roster for next year, and he needed a good performance. Still work to do, but he for me, I'm going to go with him as the player of the half.
All right, Grella, give me. I know you're not going to go with Tillman. I just saw the face. You're going with somebody else.
Charlie, you pick it out of a hat. I mean, every player played really well. I think the 2 holding midfielders are fantastic. The front 3, McGlynn was fantastic. Tillman gets his goals. Luna's been all over. Luna's been in every single pocket. He's looked confident. He gets his goal at the. Oh, I guess it's not his goal in the end. I mean, you could pick probably from 9 of the players and say they've had a really good game. Reem has looked great, comfortable, passing it, moving it. They've had one sort of danger to deal with. They dealt with it. But you could pick anyone you want.
So who are you picking? Who are you picking?
We could say Luna. We could say Luna. If you need someone in the
I
slot.
needed somebody.
Yeah, we'll say Luna. I think also his confidence to pop up and play. And he, my question, I said at the first 6 minutes, I said, yeah, he's popping up all over the place, but he's deep from the goal. Can he do it on the other end? And he did. He sniffed out the danger. He knew that Trinidad was high up the field. Great control, 1v1. He looked really sharp, by the way, 1v1, really tricky. Came inside, boom, gets the danger moment for him. But Luna probably for me, big piece for them moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you could pick a number of these players. I think Sebastian Berhalter really stood out for me. Freeman stood out, but I would go with Diego Luna as the player of the half, given his work rate, the way he popped up on the ball. He got a lot of good touches, and then he was involved in those 2 goals directly. Absolutely loved what I've seen from this group so far. And second half has just begun. Remember to engage with us, ask us questions, type in the chat. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say. We'll try and answer as many questions as we can.
I wonder who our viewers want to see. Obviously, he's going to make some changes here. Is there someone maybe who didn't perform up to a level in the last game against Switzerland that you thought, okay, maybe give this guy another shot? Because this is still a tournament, right? He still has to manage everybody's sort of fitness and all of that stuff. Who do you want to see? That would be my question.
Hey, we already got Stevie. He said, would like to see the Aaronsons come on in the second half. I mean,
I would like to see Paxton for sure in this game. Oh, good. Oof.
Great. Oof.
Good build up again. Oh,
it's on it. Max Arston.
That Arston get in there? Yeah, wow. That's your left back getting in that position. So
Tony, is what I'm saying. Like we asked him before the game, well, what's Pochettino going to look like? And for me, as football has gone on, the biggest change has been to the fullback position, what they demand of the fullbacks. Back in the day, it was like the Gary Nevilles that just like, you defend. You're a defender. You're on the weak post, and you defend that. You defend the box. You defend your 1v1s.
Occasionally, you have the 1 or 2 that you come across that
in a blue moon,
crazy overlaps that you go, damn.
Yeah. now, especially we've seen with the 3 center back system with the wing backs going forward. Now these players are getting the balls a lot more. They're in possession a lot. And what Pochettino wants is them to come inside and play almost as advanced midfielders, and they've done that. We've seen both fullbacks now in this game come inside into positions where they're really dangerous. I mean, the tackle that Freeman gets, that's really dangerous tackle, he gets it because he's up in the midfield and trying to create chances. So the game's about overloads, and these fullbacks now are creating overloads, and that's a little bit of a view into what Pochettino wants.
I love that pace from Tillman to get to the end line, put that cross in.
That was McGlynn with a good ball too.
Yes.
Luna looks sharp, man.
He does. He's feeling it. He's feeling it.
He's popping it and moving and getting in the box. He's just a nightmare, man, with that little mustache.
You know what's been impressive is they're not getting in each other's way when they do check into the seams and the pockets, half spaces, because it feels like everyone wants to find the ball between the lines, but they haven't really, run into each other or taken space away from one another, which I think is impressive given what we've seen from these guys the past 2 friendlies. We got a corner kick here. Berhalter plays it to Luna. Looks like this one off the training pitch. Oh, too much. Luna gets it caught under his feet. Tries to backheel to Berhalter. But again, I don't mind it. He's confident as hell, like you said, Grella. You could see it. He hits off his back heel.
I didn't love that. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. You want to see your number 10 like alive and trying things and doing things.
Yes.
So yeah, you don't mind it. Whatever. It's just a little bit of miscalc there. But I mean, this Trinidad side, what do you think the conversation was at halftime? The conversation was probably like, let's get off the pitch, let's play them toe to toe. We got nothing to lose now, right? It's probably the conversation. They can't get out. They're trapped in their own end, and they haven't been able to connect passes. I'd love to see what the stats were. I'll probably look them up in a second here, but they haven't been in this game at all. And they've made a few mistakes, and that's led to goals. But you talk about pure football, they haven't been able to get into this game. The U.S. is not allowing them to even.
Grill. They've completed so far in this game. This isn't halftime. They've completed 73 passes. It's painful.
That's not good, and that's credit to the U.S. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah. We talk about the goals. When we talk about the creativity, we talk about the front 3, front 4, whatever you want to say. There's another opportunity in the box. I mean, just playing little combinations.
Oh. I love that ball.
Oof.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, this is too easy though right now.
And for me, yeah, you could take away the goals and all that and the creativity, whatever. But you have to take away the fact that they have put them in a vacuum seal. They are not.
That nearly. I mean, that was half an inch away from touching that post, so they're not too far off. But I hate to say it, this is like champagne football against this side right now. And you can sense it the way that they're moving the ball. Everyone feels confident, and they're just, as the game has gone on and they're connecting these passes and moving, you could just see that everyone feels that they're that much better, and they're one pass away from a goal.
If you're Trinidad, you're still trying to manage this tournament, right? And goal differential is going to play something. You're trying to get through. You're not going to win this game, but you got Haiti coming up. I think Saudi Arabia is the other team in this group. That'll be now the team that they have to beat to get through. But yeah, you're still looking to do something here.
Let's go. Take him. Cut inside.
Oh,
Patrick Gajiman. Oh!
That's all good stuff. Good save by the goalkeeper too, man.
I like it, big man.
Yeah.
Want to compare a player? Obviously, I'm not comparing these two players, but I'm
Osimhen. Yeah.
Took it out of my. I mean, just wiry and long, and wins those battles. Gets his shot off. A little sloppy, yeah. It's a little Trinidad, yes, but still the characteristics, really positive stuff, man. Handful.
All right, we got a special guest, guys. The one and only Tommy Scoops, Tom Bogert. Welcome to the show, Tommy Scoops. He'll never let you down. He'll get you the inside information. Tom, talk to us. What are you seeing from the U.S. today?
What's going on, fellas? The best thing I've seen is Grella smoking on that Trinidad pack, my man. I love that. This is a good vibe. Last show, the vibes were worse, but Uncle Tony was laying down. He had good vibes then, and now, Tone, I see that you've changed up your background.
I'm a little bit upright. I wanted to watch it on the big screen instead of my iPad because I hate that. So yeah, I changed it a little bit for you, Tom.
Oh, I'm flattered. No, this has been a fun game. This starting 11 makes so much more sense against Trinidad and Tobago than it did against, say, Switzerland. And I know it's not the same 11, but a guy like Max Arfson, left back against Switzerland, you're setting him up to fail, and he had a disaster class. In this game, where the USMNT is going to have whatever the possession number is, I don't believe that Trinidad has had the ball in the Americans' defensive third. So
not one completed pass
as a wing back because he plays as a winger, you know?
Tom, not one completed pass in the final third this game for Trinidad. They don't have one.
So that's why, like, Luna and Jack McGlynn as wingers against Switzerland, a team of that caliber, doesn't make any sense to me. In this game, it's perfect. And that's kind of where, like, I'm excited by the performance while holding room for the lower quality of opponent. But, like, I don't understand why these decisions weren't made with Switzerland in mind in the previous game, right? Like, this just makes so much more sense for this game, and we're seeing it.
Tom, what are you hearing on what are you hearing on Freeman and what they like about him? I've been a fan here for a couple months. I've been telling Jimmy and Charlie for a couple months. I'm happy he's getting an opportunity. But what are you hearing about Freeman and his upside?
Oh, he's got a ton of upside. Obviously, the first thing that jumps out about this kid is like his physical prowess. His athleticism is off the charts, as we well know, but his technique and his intelligence is there too. For a rising young fullback, he's on the radar of a ton of clubs in Europe. Parma had a bid rejected for him. Orlando City's stance is pretty clear. Like, you're going to have to absolutely blow them away for them to even consider a bid this summer. Remember, this is the first half season he's starting as a first-team professional. So I like that Orlando is saying, hey, man, like, at least we're just going to get a full year. Again, unless some crazy offer comes out. So we'll see. I think it's
went in your mind, Tom. If it was really going to turn Orlando's head at this point. We saw what they were looking at with Daryl Dike. What do you think that number is for a 20-year-old Alex Freeman as a right back, not a striker?
Yeah, so I will say, I preface my answer by saying Orlando's a very reasonable team when it comes to selling players. And that's why I don't blame them for holding a high valuation now. Again, this is no information that I've gotten, but you look at a deal for Caleb Wiley, $10.5 million, $11 million to Chelsea. Caleb Wiley had so much more experience in the Atlanta United first team. So I doubt that an offer like that would be coming for Alex Freeman this summer. But I think it would take something in that ballpark, maybe, a couple million less, but like where their valuation is going to be right now because of how early he is into the first team and where the offers are going to come. I just don't think a deal makes sense. But again, we'll see if a team goes with a crazy big offer. I do think it's more likely that Alex Freeman gets a new contract than he does get sold.
Hey, I'll tell you this right now, Tom.
I think he did well in Serie A. I think he would do well in Serie A.
I do too.
I think he could do well in a lot of leagues because he's athletic, and what Grella was picking up on in the first half is his positioning, not afraid to come inside and play in tight spaces. I mean, here he is defending. I mean, he was getting a little twisted and turned there, but I'll also say, Tom, Peyton Miller has been a sensation. A 17-year-old left back in Major League Soccer playing consistently. He's got incredible pace. It was funny to watch the game yesterday. I called the game against the Cincinnati and seeing Yedlin versus Peyton Miller, where Yedlin used to be that guy, and now Peyton Miller is outrunning a Yedlin on the wing, a left back and a right wing back. It was great to see. It was almost like a passing of the torch in a way. What's the upside with Peyton Miller? I've heard links to Tottenham, and is he on Pochettino's radar already?
I'm sure he is, just particularly because of how wide open that left back spot is. Like, he needs to obviously refine his defending and everything else. It just comes with senior games. Again, he's 17 years old, right? Like, so it's not a knock on him to say that he's probably not ready for the senior national team right now, but he should absolutely be on the radar. This is a kid who he's gonna move, I think, in the winter. He can't move this summer because he's 17, but I doubt that there would even be a deal agreed from what I've heard. You think of a big club in Europe, And you can safely assume that they have him on their list. Whether it's going to be as high as some of the others, but like everybody in Europe is well aware of this kid because of what he's done with the youth national team level, even before he got into the New England Revolution first team, where he's obviously taken some big steps in his professional career. So Peyton Miller is his valuation should be higher than Alex Freeman's. He's younger. He's got probably a few more games, not that much, but you know what I mean? Like, this kid is a top talent in global soccer.
Man, I'm really liking what I've seen. Oh, we got a question in the chat. Let's pop that chat question up. Yeah, this is for Tommy Scoops. What do we got? Tom, what's going on with Diego Cochin? Is he going to move away from Barcelona, or is he going to stay down pat?
That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen. I've kind of talked to a couple people about this. Obviously, the kid, he's super happy at Barcelona. He became the B team starting goalkeeper. When you get to a position of his at a club like this, it's, do you stay in the B team and be the starter again, or do you try to go on loan? If I was advising him, I might see if a loan makes sense, depending on what clubs are calling. But like, I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world if he stays at Barcelona B this summer for next season. So I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen there, but he's definitely somebody I'm going to be watching this summer.
Tony, talk to me about Matt Freese there.
Yeah, look, it's a tough play, and it gets even tougher when you're just standing around for what's it been, 50, almost 60 minutes of a game, and you got literally nothing to do, and the team hasn't completed a pass in the final third, which they finally have, and then you're asked to do something down, especially low, right? So good for him. He pushes it by. Maybe got a little bit fortunate, the way it went behind the guy sliding in the goal, but made the play nonetheless. So good on him. Tom, I said whenever we had the last show, like I think it's Freeze's turn here. Do you think this is a one-off here? Do you think he's going to rotate? We generally haven't rotated in these tournaments over the years. We've generally seen one goalkeeper take the competition. Any sense?
That's why I was surprised to see Matt Freese in the starting lineup, not because he's undeserving, because I think he's absolutely deserving. But Tony, to your point, my assumption is Pochettino, whoever starts this game, is going to start the tournament. And I figured that Matt Turner was still going to be there. That's why I was expecting Freese to get a game in one of the friendlies, and then Turner would be back for Trinidad game. So I'm not sure. Maybe you have more insight on this than I do, but I do know Matt Freese is obviously very highly rated by this program. That's why he's here. That's why he's starting in goal right now. And he's been excellent for NYCFC over the last season and a half that he's become the full-time starter there. So I'm curious to see how high his level can go. And obviously, we're not going to see it in a game against Trinidad right here. Like you guys were just saying, that wasn't a perfect handling of that first save, but sometimes you get a little luck and it doesn't roll in the back of the net.
Hey, I got to say, I started with Matt Freese, or he started with me in Philadelphia Union as a young player coming in to train under John McCarthy and Andre Blake. And we just saw that he's got his head on his shoulders. He's a smart kid. Obviously, went to Harvard and just a professional. And I'm not surprised that he's here because he's always taken that steady approach of just, I got to learn the game, work hard. He's got the intelligence, the IQ. And here he is getting his opportunity, and so far he's making the most of it.
And Brad Friedel loved them with the U19s, like he was when he was a U19 coach, and he was trying to get him. I was working with him. He was trying to get him to Europe, but he couldn't get his papers. Like he thought that he could go to Europe and play back then, and he just kind of couldn't work it out. So Brad saw the most of him because that was his age group. That's where all his scouts. That's what he was doing. So the two guys that Brad sort of picked out in that day and age are Matt Freese, and of course he had Matt Turner, right?
Yep,
in New England when he was playing. So he's picked like these two guys that, and probably Tom, you'd probably know better. He picked Matt Turner when like nobody would pick Matt Turner, right?
Yes. So Matt Turner was an undrafted signee out of college for New England. And again, there are 4 rounds in the MLS Super Draft for those who don't know. And that draft routinely ends with most teams passing on a 3rd or 4th round pick. So Matt Turner was undrafted in a draft that ended with many teams passing on draft picks. For him to go from that, he had a loan at Richmond Kickers. I talked to Matt Turner around those times. Like, he would train with the Revs during the week and then go fly and play for Richmond on the weekend and go back and forth. That's not easy. And you never assumed that you were going to have a real pathway to the first team. When Frito took over, like Turner believed, like, I have a real chance. Like, Friedel told me that, like, he wants to see, like, I have an open chance in preseason. And true to Friedel's word, like that, I think that's his biggest legacy, that and signing Carlos Hill for the New England Revolution. Like, that helped set up a lot of success under Bruce Arena after him.
Yeah, I mean, it was a train wreck, but he got those two right.
Two good things. You got to give him credit.
Tom, are there any more news from the Lyon move for Matt Turner? Anything else to comment on?
No, nothing new. And again, I am glad that US, like, while there's no update, I'm glad I have the chance to say, I'm not expecting this deal to be officially announced until July, both because of the Gold Cup and because people smarter than me on the business side, maybe Lyon and with their financial situation, needs to wait for the UEFA calendar to flip to next year. Again, I don't know the exact reasons, but I was told don't expect an announcement until, early July. And again, if it doesn't come until then, to not worry that something fell through.
Are you expecting them to sell Lucas Perry before they sign Matt Turner?
Whether it goes official or not, like, I believe that the Turner deal was arranged so that they could sell Lucas Perry.
Gotcha.
Charlie, you got to tell me more about that goalkeeper room that you had in Philly. Look at those guys. Andre Blake, one of the absolute legends of MLS. John McCarthy, an MLS Cup MVP, and now Matt Freese, who goes to NYCFC and immediately gets into the national team. Like, my God, what a room that was.
Yeah, it was fun to score goals on those guys in training.
That's why Charlie retired. Couldn't score anymore.
I gave up all my goals in there. I was done after that.
They broke Charlie's spirit, those three.
Ask Andre. I got Andre every damn day.
Charlie thought he was losing it. That's why he retired. But in reality, we just had the best goalkeeping class in the last 10 years.
Hey, and no one knew. No one knew. I look at Jim Curtin like, come on, dude. You brought me here.
Hajiman, by the way, just an update from the game. I mean, he's looked good all game. He's been a handful, but he just passed the ball 40 yards out of play. So I get the balance there. You know.
Hashtag free Brian White. Hashtag free Brian White. That's all I'm going to
say. What about hashtag Haji Wright? I mean, can Haji get a run?
Give Brian Wright get a chance here. Brian White get a chance here. Now you got me saying Haji Wright's last name.
I don't like Haji in that center forward position for us. I think you just need the guy who wants. Oh, look, this is a big chance. I'm watching, by the way.
Can he make the right decision?
Oh, good ball, Tillman.
Get around him.
Oh,
here we go.
Oh,
boy.
Oh.
Who's that at the top of the box? Oh, it was Delatorre. Maybe to lay it off, huh?
Yeah. That was the selfish part in you as a 9. Is like I got to get on the score sheet here. Armstrong lays off that ball.
Yeah, he already did score.
Yeah, well,
did they officially credit him with that
goal? He doesn't know about it, but he scored.
They gave it to him. Hey, Tony, I'm saying
he doesn't know anything about it yet, but
one with intention.
Grella and Charlie, tell me that at halftime, if you're Ajimang, are you turning to the staff and saying, "That hit me. That was me. That was me"?
Hell yeah! Are you kidding me, Boker?
No. He threw his arms up.
I was tossing you an alley-oop, Charlie.
Yeah,
I knew
can't believe it.
I'm not going into halftime. I'm going right there and going.
A capped goal, 100%. I'm taking it.
Hey, Tom, right away, I'm going like this. Hey, don't. I look at Luna. I'd say, hey, don't celebrate. That came off of me. Come here. Let's go.
No, that's when you point at him and be like, yo, great assist, Diego. Great assist.
Hey,
that was half of Charlie's goals were like that.
I'd be like, hey, pound. Oh, man.
Tillman's been really good today. I think not just the goals, it's obviously the positioning, but I feel like he's made the right decision much more often than not in this game, and I think that's what I'm looking more at than the goals, because again, you have to take into account the level of opponent. But like, I don't know, this Malik Tillman looks different than earlier versions of him on the national team. But again, he was like a younger player. He's got more experience. He's got more responsibility at PSV. He's coming off his best season ever, so that's been cool to see tonight.
Tom, I wanted to wait until we were further into the match to bring up the Christian Pulisic interview, to bring up the response from Mauricio Pochettino, maybe what was also said in the media from former players and Tim Howard and Landon Donovan and Clint Dempsey. What did you make of the Christian Pulisic interview? One, of what he said and how he said it. And two, what do you believe Mauricio Pochettino's words meant in terms of how he was to respond to Christian Pulisic?
So first of all, well done. Great get by you guys and great interview. I thoroughly enjoyed that. So for anybody who's watching this, I doubt that you haven't seen the interview, but go check that out. I'm a little bit torn on this one, right? On one hand, I might have advised him, don't say anything publicly. Maybe just lay low. No social media this summer either. Like, and take your time off, but be off and be away. But on the other hand, like, I respect him for coming out and feeling like he wanted to talk and give his side and give his feelings. And everybody has their right to do that. What I will say is, again, where I'm torn is I understand his sentiment for, listen, like, I will have no break if I play through the Gold Cup. Again, I'm not sure if I totally agree with it, but I can get the logic there. What I didn't love was one quote in particular where you guys asked him, hey, what was it like watching your teammates get killed by Switzerland the other night? And he's like, man, I just wish I could be out there. It's like, dude, it's a little tone deaf. You were the one who chose to not be out there. You know what I mean? Like,
that's not true, Tom. He said,
dude,
he could.
No, stop it. I know, right? But you can't just go pick and choose. Hey, I'm going to play a couple friendlies and then bounce for the competitive tournament.
All right. Well,
so let me ask you,
he chose
Tom,
not to be with this group.
Did we just in general, Pulisic, Weah, McKennie, and Gio Reyna, did we miss an opportunity to see more of our players against two really good teams? Because what this podcast here said a couple of weeks ago, we'd rather the guys play in those two friendlies than play against Trinidad and against Haiti and Saudi Arabia. So did Poch miss an opportunity to have, at least for two games, more of his guys?
Well, McKennie, Weah, and Gio Reyna weren't allowed to be selected.
They were available. That's confirmed. They were available for that because, look, Chahanoglu played. You can go through the list. They had three guys on both of those teams that played, so they were good for the friendlies. They weren't good for this.
Kenan Yildiz.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I'm just asking, did we miss an opportunity?
Yes. Because, and that's even this too. Like, looking at this game, like, again, I'm excited by some of the performances. There's individuals that I think have a chance to make this World Cup team. But you look at the starting lineup today, and again, we're just about a year out from the World Cup, and this is a competitive tournament. You look at the starting 11 today. Conservatively, I think you say 9 different players will be starting the opening game of the World Cup. Conservatively, like, there's a possibility that's 10. Like, I think Richards is the only one that you can say, if he's fit, he's absolutely starting at the World Cup. So we're like, yes, this is good, but, like, again, if Max Arfson plays really well against Trinidad and Tobago, does it have a big impact on the World Cup? I don't think it does at all. So
no, I mean,
to your point, I think it's a missed opportunity.
Well, this is the thing for me. I'm curious, Tom. What's more important for Pochettino right now? Is it chemistry and cohesion, or experimentation?
Chemistry and cohesion.
So then you need a Christian Pulisic, a Tim Weah, a Weston McKennie, and a Gio Reyna. And from what we understand, Gio Reyna wasn't even up to the level in Nations League. That's why he didn't play. So if he didn't play from then until now, what's to say that he would even play or be involved if that were the case? So my question is then, why wouldn't you, if you want to set a precedent of saying, hey, you got to be here the whole time, friendlies and Gold Cup, unless your club is pulling you away and you can't be. So then we still should have seen Weston McKennie and Tyler and Timothy Weah.
I have so much to say on this. Obviously, being a player that played way less games, way less important games, but also just when something happens in football, right? When something happens off the pitch, or when something happens to a guy's, I mean, I don't want to like get into too crazy rabbit hole here, but when something happens, we always go back and on TV and on these podcasts, we say it puts life into perspective, right? It's football's not everything at the end of the day. And when a human being tells you I can't be at my best if I play in these games. I need a break. He's your best player, by the way. The U.S. need him going to the World Cup. And he's telling you, he's leveling with you and saying, listen, I'll make the friendlies because I want to be at those, but I just need a break. Whether it's mental, whether it's physical, whether it's family, whether it's, right? Because those things come before. Your mental health, your physical health, your family comes before football. Comes before money, comes before all those things. We don't know exactly what's going on with Pulisic. If Pulisic's a guy now that you say, oh, he's done this many times, he's unprofessional. He's not. Super professional, super disciplined kid. He's obviously been successful. He's been our best player. He's been the U.S.'s best player, most important player. If he's coming to you and telling you, I need a break.
You give him a break.
You give him a break. I mean,
and they did.
Yeah, no. Well,
how did they give him a break? Did they come out and say how they give him a break?
We don't want you for the friendlies. If you can't make the tournament, we don't want you for the friendlies. And I'm the head coach. And he came out earlier today, or was that yesterday? And he said, I'm the head coach here. And communication to me is so important. This is a guy you need moving forward. This is a guy who's not a bad guy. This is a good guy. You gotta. I think in that moment, I think his inexperience coaching a national team showed. And in that moment, he's got to say, listen, if this guy needs a break, he needs a break. And I think we need to put that into perspective, because we talk about football, we analyze these games, we analyze these moments, but these are human beings. And when the best player in the country is telling you, I need a break because I played the most minutes I've played in the last 2 years, and I'm risking injury and I'm risking all these other things that we don't even know.
And remember, he's gotten over all the injuries, right? He had all these little injuries here and there. My thing is this, Tom. Why not say Christian Pulisic wanted to play in these 2 games, but he needed a break. He won, and we told him, you know what? We're giving him we're giving him time to recover. He needs it. He's our guy who's always shown up. He's worn the flag proudly. He's really helped this team grow. He's committed, but we need a reset. He needs a little reset and that's fine. But that wasn't the case. And now we have, Landon Donovan and Tim Howard, 2 of my teammates that I shared the pitch with these guys. They know what it means to be a part of this U.S. men's national team coming out. And now it feels like there's a rift with former players and current players. And this shouldn't be the case when you're out from a World Cup.
Charlie and Grella, to your point, like the messaging and the man management, I think that's fair to criticize as well. To your point, like in the inexperience on the international side, I think that makes a lot of sense here, because like, hey man, if this was at Chelsea, you'd say, all right, let's sell him. Let's go buy somebody else. Like you can't do that with the national team. And that's why I've always preferred managers that are more pragmatic at the international level, because if you have a system and hey, this is how we're going to be, and if it works, like everybody has to adapt to this. Like you can't do that at the international level, because you can't go buy a new left back. You can't go buy a new forward. You have what you have. And Grella, to your point, like you probably should have put your arm around him and said, hey, hey, he's our guy, right? Like I think that just shows like the underlying rift that must be there between Pochettino and Pulisic for both of these men, both leaders, to decide, I'm going to go out publicly. And that started with U.S. Soccer making it clear Pulisic asked for a break, and Pochettino, in his quotes, clear that Pulisic asked for a break. And then Pulisic feeling the need to defend himself, saying what he said, and then Pochettino again going back at him. The direct quote was like, I'm the head coach, I'm not a mannequin. Like, these are conversations I think that should be happening behind closed doors. And I think that we all lose.
Tom, I agree. And I'll say this too. When you hire a national team coach, we hired Pochettino, right? The U.S. hired Pochettino, and we're like, wow, everyone was over the moon over it because we got a top quality manager, right? But in reality, in managing, obviously I have very little experience in managing, but I've been around the game for my entire life. And you're getting paid for the tactical aspect of it. You're getting paid to evaluate players. You're getting paid to come in at a high level. You're Pochettino. You obviously have a high resume, good experience. But you know what you're getting paid for the most, especially in the international experience, is communication and relationships with your players. I'm hearing things, and again, I'm more of an outside fan. You guys are on this podcast every week, so you know a lot more than I do, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you get paid for your communication with players. I'm hearing reports that he doesn't even communicate with these guys, that he's not even talking to his closest guys. And to me, that's a red flag. like we could talk about today, they had a great performance in the first half and they were fantastic and all these different pool players. And there's a million things to talk about, which is great. But I think at the end of the day, you've got to communicate with your best guys. I mean, in any business, in any relationship, on TV, in football, in any financial business, you're going to communicate with your best people and say, hey, listen, this is what we need and this is what we don't need. And the fact that he hasn't done that, to me, raises a couple red flags.
Hey, Pochettino has made some substitutions. He's gone to a back three now with McKenzie, Chris Richards, and Ream as the back three. Freeman and Arfson are the two wing backs. So maybe he's getting used to potentially moving forward with this back three. It's good to see that he's not afraid to make those changes in game, that you don't have to be set with that back three, depending on the opponent, depending on the circumstances. Tom, have you heard anything about a preferred formation, or is he still in experimental mode?
It seems to be the latter there. It seems to be, and again, like on the back of what I was just saying, like I prefer a manager to be pragmatic. I think that that's good. Yes, we need continuity, but like the group that's available for this tournament, it's not going to be the majority of the group at the World Cup. So the continuity aspect is kind of out the window. You're trying to help foster a better culture in terms of competitiveness, in terms of, okay, which of these guys are going to make the World Cup squad? Which of these guys could maybe play a bigger role than we have assumed? Who is going to take this chance? Who are the dogs in this group that can come forward with this team? So it's more about that. And again, getting wins, because we're at the senior international level. We're not just out here for experimentation and hey, that was a good individual performance. Like, we're out here for trophies, man.
Yeah. But the thing is, when you play against a Trinidad and Tobago, things look much different when you play against a Switzerland and a Turkey, let alone, we're not talking Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, France, right? Netherlands, which is another level. It's interesting because I feel that he's still learning a lot about these players, individuals. Forget tactics and formations. He just has to learn who can play, who can't. What's the upside? What are guys' strengths, weaknesses? He's still trying to learn the pool. Forget the players that we all know, that anyone can watch the 2022 World Cup and go, okay, all these guys are going to be around their prime, they're not even necessarily in their prime years. But I think as this competition moves on, we're going to start to see when they're playing, even Saudi Arabia, I think that'll be a proper opponent. But when you play against a Canada or Mexico, then we start to see where they're at.
I completely agree, but again, I do keep going back to like the upside of this tournament, like that everything we're doing is viewed in the lens of the World Cup, and it feels like so many key players aren't here.
So Tom, we're essentially, you take out Chris Richards. Let's forget the goalkeepers, right? Because we know there's 3 goalkeepers on the roster, but we're looking at finding players 19 or 20 to 26. Right. That's kind of what we're looking at. Something around there, some kind of math like that, right? 18 to 26. Like, right. I don't know, however many you have penciled in. That's where we're at right now with this tournament. And I think we should look at it in that sort of that vein, right? Is that's we're not looking for, again, and we might even at some level throw McKenzie in there if he continues to grow the way he has over the last couple years. He might end up starting a game in the World Cup, right? But that's I think how we should, or what I should ask you, is that fair for how we should look at this tournament?
Yeah, I think it's totally fair, and I don't think we really have any other choice, right? And like you said, take away Chris Richards, take away Tim Ream and Malik Tillman, and that might be like sure, Diego Luna. I think is playing himself into like, hey, you expect him to be at every camp, like as long as maybe not quite there, but like maybe Luna would be in the next, like if he has, I think, a big Gold Cup, like there's 100% chance we're going to see him in the fall and then moving forward. Brendan Aronson, again, you can name some, like I think Miles Robinson is closer to the Mark McKenzie camp. And I know that Mark McKenzie, I think, had a better season technically, but I do think, whoa.
Are you ahead of us, huh?
Yeah, finally. This was against Switzerland. I was like 30 seconds behind. I would have still been talking.
Well done.
Wow. Okay.
Tony, tell us about that goalkeeping right there.
Brendan Aronson with the goal to make it 4-0.
Good goal, Grell. Good goal.
Oh boy.
Good for him.
Good for Aronson.
He's a guy who needed it though. He's a guy who needs a good tournament, Brendan Aronson.
Is there a player who's not in this camp, who's hasn't participated yet under Pochettino, that you could still see making a strong run at this World Cup squad?
Look, I think the answer is nobody, just because of how experimental this group is. Like, if you didn't make this, then you feel like you're pretty far away. Again, Josh Sargent isn't a name that counts because of how you laid out the question. The best that I can think of is Tristan Blackman. And again, I think that it's a real uphill battle for him, but he has been my defender of the year so far in Major League Soccer. He's somebody who is excellent.
Had a rough one last night, right? Didn't he
Yeah.
he had a tough one last night, right?
Yeah, but like,
yeah,
I
but
still
you're
think
right.
that he has been the best defender in the league this year. And again, like, to preface this, I don't think that there is any real name, but if you had to make me pick one, he's a guy who I'd like
I'm
to see
making
get
you
a chance.
pick one. Hey,
Tristan Blackman.
Tom,
are we going to see this Downs kid play or no? Are we going to get a game with Downs? I mean,
well, we did see him play.
Yeah, but did we really see him play?
I know, but
he made one run up the middle of the field. That was it.
Yeah, we saw.
He's not in today's squad. So is there an issue? Is there?
We saw a glimpse. Maybe he's sick like Cardoso is. I don't know.
Oh, maybe. Okay, yeah.
But Tom, an absolute joy to have you on. Thanks for all the insight. Oh, come on, Chris. Let's see it. Freeze, Chris. Okay, keep that clean sheet. Tommy Scoops, always a pleasure. Thank you, man.
Appreciate you guys. You guys are
Thanks,
legends.
brother.
Talk to you soon.
Great seeing you, bro.
Too, bro.
We got a Cole Campbell shout as someone who hasn't been involved.
Cole Campbell. Yeah, he's
play.
got to get first team minutes.
Watch this part.
What's up, Haji? What's up, Haji? Okay, and that's 5-0. Haji right with a banger. Hey, Grella, Grella, you were saying you didn't want to see Haji. My man comes in as a sub. You know it's not easy. I know it's Trinidad, but it's not easy. He comes in and he gets the goal.
I think Haji and Sargent are getting a little bit overlooked because whatever, all right, the championship, whatever, but the championship's a better league than you think. I mean, ultimately,
not Charlie.
Probably
not Charlie.
Probably the 5th or 6th best league in the world. I mean, you see here this goal, if you're watching the game as well. He's playing as a center forward. He gets the ball out wide. Like, I don't like when my center forwards run into the channels like that all the time. He runs into the channel because he's more of a winger. Against Trinidad, he's an elite player. He's going to get these goals. He's going to come inside and create all sorts of danger. But he's solid. In the winger position, for me, he's solid. He protects the football, strong, fast, 1v1, good technical ability, good finishing ability, gets his goal tonight. This is what I wanted to see also, 5-0 in the second half. Probably hasn't been as good as the first half, to be honest, with the press after the loss. Trinidad's have a few chances. But for me, Haji Wright has got to be a guy that's in the conversation for sure, because I think he could change games from the bench. He could change games from the starting lineup. Good player. I don't want to see him as the center forward.
As weird as it was, he still has a goal in the World Cup. Let's not forget, right? As strange as maybe the goal was
in a knockout round. Yeah. Against Netherlands, when you got Virgil van Dijk on that back line. So yeah, as fluky as it was, it's a goal in the World Cup, and I think he's made big strides this past season playing club football. So, what's his upside? What does this next year look like with Frank Lampard at Coventry? We'll see. I mean, it seems like he's skipped ahead of Josh Sargent in terms of the depth chart. So, and this obviously helps his case, Grella.
Yeah, but again, I just don't. I mean, if he's in one of those winger positions, okay. I mean, is he serviceable as the number 9 for sure? Come off the bench and do something for you, definitely, because of his the attributes that he has. But
yeah,
I like him. I like him as a winger, and we watched him all year. We covered him in the championship all year, and I think he does most of his damage with the ball to feet, and the ball when he has the ball, like with guys in front of him, where he can create something on the dribble or on the move. Center forward, like hold the ball, spin, like lay it off and spin. Is that his game really? Against Trinidad, maybe, but against other guys, I don't know. I mean, Charlie, you were like a number 9, right? You like to have your back to goal, like you like to spin guys, you like to feel guys.
Loved it.
Another big play here.
Come on, son.
Is he onside?
Ooh. That was not.
He was off. He was off. I love.
Did you call it offside?
Grella, I love that because I was one of the few players who had the pace and the strength aspect because I wrestled for 4 years. I'll go back to that, changing the way I played, loving contact, embracing contact, knowing how to use momentum. It really made me that much more dynamic as a striker. But it still took me, I turned pro December of 2006, and I'll never forget. It took me a full year to understand how to really play at the professional level with my back to goal. And then it took me another 2 years to do it at the international level. There are levels to it, and the pace, the tempo. When you go from playing against center backs in the Allsvenskan in Sweden to next thing I know, I have Lucio or Sergio Ramos or Piqué Puyo on my back. There's a big difference. Nesta on my back in the Italian national team. Like, you have to be able to embrace that contact, and you also have to know how to pull people out of their comfortable positions. And so, I look at Anajiman, we talked about him early, right? He has a lot of intangibles to cause backlines problems. He's big. I think he doesn't have that pace right away, but he can get it to a level where he's moving. But the ball doesn't stick to his feet. So working on that first touch, we saw the ball run away from him a couple of times in Turkey. And we all know in the international game, when you're playing against top teams, possession is key. You may not get the ball all that much when you're playing against a Spain or you're playing against a Brazil. And that one time your team needs you to hold it up, or that one time on a counterattack or in transition, you need to be able to at least make that first pass, and it comes with the contact first. You got to hold it up. If that touch isn't right, you're not going to you're not going to be able to excel yourself, but your team's not going to be able to excel with you on the pitch. So again, there's a lot of work that needs to be done for Ajiman, but I really like what he has in terms of the raw tools. Again, he has to continue to work at it.
You got to ask those, is for what he has is a year enough to get to where he needs to be, or are we looking 5 years down the road, right?
Tony, the reality is he's not good.
No, as a starting
raw,
9,
it's raw talent. Yeah. He's not a starter in this group. If for me, in any way, shape, or form, I'm looking at, is he in the 26? Is he a guy that we thought years ago we had that guy with Daryl Dike, right? We thought that was the one guy in going into the World Cup in 2022. He would be the guy that would make the team, that would give a different profile. He didn't decide to go that way, Greg. But now with the injuries, is this the guy that has just a completely different profile than any other guy that we have on the team? That's what you have to ask yourself.
No,
and
the answer is no, Tony. If we're talking about Ricardo Pepi healthy, and Ricardo Pepi and Balogun, they're very different. But
Balogun to me is a better version of Ajiman.
Oh, you think? No, I think Ricardo Pepi's a better version.
No. I don't think Pepe's as physical as these two players.
He is. I'm telling you, they're very similar.
He's grown into it the last year or so. He's gotten big. Yeah.
Pepe's had to play like that, Grella, to play over Luke de Jong
and Ajiman. If I'm a center back, I think Pepe's probably cleaner finisher.
Yeah.
I think he's probably more technical player. But when you talk about like being a handful for center backs, is Pepe there at that level yet? I don't know. You guys watch?
Yes, 100%.
Also,
and this is where you're
not really.
Yeah, but this is where you got to see what Balogun offers. Balogun is also not a player that's going to play with his back to goal and fight. And
no,
that's not him. If I'm a center back, I'm saying, please, I will eat you up in these 50-50
You're gonna
duels.
bump him. You're gonna feel him. You're gonna make him. He's gonna be spooked. Like
He's very good when he can pop off the shoulder of a center back, or he checks into the space, or he's constantly on the move. He's not afraid to drift out wide. You talk about guys who want to stay central. He'll drift out wide, or he'll check deep. He'll try and bring a center back with him, which will create space for wingers to come inside. That's where you get from Balogun. But he's much more technically gifted with the ball at his feet. He has a better touch than Pepe and Ajiman, because he has proper technique with his education at Arsenal. But when I see Ricardo Pepi, how he's developed at PSV, like you said, he's not playing 90 minutes all the time, but he makes the most of his time. And he was pushing Luke de Jong out the door if it wasn't for that ACL injury. So I really like what I've seen from Pepe being left out of the roster in 2022, which he would have been a help in the end if he was included. But he's used that to continue to propel himself forward. He's got the right mentality.
I like Pepe. I mean, listen, I like him. Again, though, does he give you overwhelming confidence that he's the guy in a World Cup 90-minute games?
He's
not really.
When he's fit, and who knows, right after the injury, what happens here. But going into that, he was the guy that if you gave me your forward who was going to have one chance to finish it, he's the guy who would have felt most comfortable finishing it.
I agree with that too. But yeah. But I don't know. Like the sample size of his 90-minute games, like coming off the bench and scoring goals is totally different than playing 90 minutes and being a nuisance for center backs for from the start. So again, that's like Pandora's box with the striker position now.
I'm getting dizzy from this camera angle. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, you're telling me, bro.
I feel like I'm on a roller coaster.
This.
It's like all twisting around and going 360.
This is what the Trinidad defenders were feeling the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, there it is.
That's it. That's time. 5-0 in overwhelming victory for the U.S. men's national team.
Much needed,
it's a great start to the Gold Cup. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna take a short break. Lots to come. We gotta break this down, and then what does the future look like in this Gold Cup for the U.S. men's national team? Don't go anywhere.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
What's he like? The happy-faced killer?
You mean my dad? Be glad you never have to know.
You think that you're so much better than me. You're just like your old man.
I am not like you at all.
The crowd loves champions. Gladiator 2 is an epic spectacle.
To amuse you is my only wish.
The glory is yours, not mine.
Very good. Gladiator 2, rated R, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
The most original musical ever is now streaming on Paramount Plus.
I'm just giving the people what they want.
Better Man absolutely sizzles from start to finish. Better Man, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
The clock never stops. Relive the greatest moments with uninterrupted highlights and more.
It's Gareth Bale. No goal. Wonderful goal.
On the UEFA Champions League channel. Streaming free.
Get ready.
Wait a second. I thought we were going tubing.
All 3 Sonic the Hedgehog movies and Knuckles are now streaming on Paramount Plus.
And everyone loves it.
Every adventure,
Just try to keep up.
every face-off,
This ends now.
and every moment that will have you saying,
Where have you been? My entire life!
It's showtime!
all 3 Sonic the Hedgehog movies and the entire Sonic universe are now streaming on Paramount+.
Welcome back to Call It What You Want. We're in the post-game show after that live watch-along. All the YouTube comments have been incredible during this watch-along live stream. I've been really impressed. We got to talk about this win, 5-0 for the U.S. men's national team over Trinidad to open up the Gold Cup. I'm joined by Hall of Famer Tony Miola and Mr. Syria himself, Mike Grella. Break it down for me, guys. Tony, give it to me first. What did you like about this performance? How important was this performance?
Important because there needed to be some good vibes around this group. There haven't been, so that part A+. What did I like about the performance? They did they did their job, right? They were better than Trinidad, but we have seen games like this in the past where we've been what we thought were 5 goals better, and we end up winning 2-1 or something like that. And so I think they've what we expected. They met that, and I think they should be happy with the performance, and they're going to move on to what I think is going to be the most difficult game in the group, which is Saudi Arabia next. Those 2 teams, by the way, Saudi Arabia and Haiti, play now. They're getting a start. They're getting ready to start here in a little bit, but some decent performances. It was good to see Tillman get on the score sheet and look comfortable on the ball. Again, we say all of this knowing that the opponent wasn't what it was the last 2 matches, but you need to start somewhere. Alex Freeman once again gets a chance. McGlynn was good. Diego Luna was good. I don't know that we had a bad performance in the team. So good for them. They move on in the Gold Cup, and let's see what they can do in this next match.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, for me, look, any serious team or business or anything you look at that's a really high quality, well-oiled machine, there's no drama around it. There's just results. It's bottom line. Today was that. Today was there was no messing around. It was serious. It was business. It was guys come off the bench, play a really good second half as well. Good additions in the second half. Dominating performance, business-like performance. Pochettino celebrating on the sideline. So something I think that the U.S. men's national team needed and need moving forward. Put all this garbage aside of guys need rest and Pochettino saying this and that in press conferences and performances that are not good enough, and business-like mature performances. I think this is what they need moving forward, moving to the World Cup. Get on the same page, get going. And okay. Today, I think the big conversation was, I speak to Ivis before the game and say, hey, well, what's it look like today? And he knows everything about the national team. And he said, look, they're missing a lot of their best guys, and that's the conversation, right? They are missing a lot of best guys. But when this pool of players performs like this, grain of salt with Trinidad, that pushes the other guys to say, hey, well, we've got to come in and we've got to perform. We've got to come in and we've got to earn this spot. And I think it's important that if you want to put it this way, the A team, B team, the C team, the D team, whatever the pool, however you want to break up the pool of players, performs in this way every time. Performs in this way where press after loss, goals, killer instinct, knife in the hand, big performances. I think this is important to push the A guys, to push the B guys, to push the C guys, wherever you find yourself. This is a really important result moving forward. This is chapter of this Gold Cup tournament, chapter 1 of 20 or whatever you want to call it. Good step in the right direction, but have to continue. Just like we said, the first half was good. We got to have a good second half. Did. Now it's the next game. Recovery, next game. And how far can you push this thing in a business-like, mature manner where the guys that are maybe not there now understand, hey, this is a project that's moving forward in the right direction, in the right way. These are the expectations for this team in the next World Cup. We have once in a lifetime opportunity to do something big on our home turf in a World Cup. And this was the step in the right direction, something that they needed after obviously the friendlies that were not good, the Nation Leagues games that were not good, so many games that were not good, so much drama leading into this game today. This could have been easily a track game where we could have been having a really different conversation right now, where we were saying, oh man, this is disaster. Hit the emergency buttons, not good enough. They only won 1-1, or they only won 2-1, or they drew, but they got business taken care of, step in the right direction. Have to push this ball forward, because you can't celebrate a 5-0 win in the first game of the Gold Cup a year before the World Cup, but it's definitely a step in the right direction.
I think you guys both summarized it perfectly. I want to take a look at the starting 11, and something that I really noticed and loved was the fact that when you talk about guys who are getting an opportunity to shine, we've talked about Berhalter coming into a starting 11, Luca De La Torre, Jack McGlynn, and Alex Freeman, young 20-year-old right back. We know Serginho Dest, when he's fit and he's at his best, he's going to be in that position. Anthony Robinson, fit and healthy, he's going to be in the left back position for Max Arfson. But Malik Tillman is the one who's playing Champions League football regularly, the guy who's starring at PSV. He hasn't necessarily hit the ground running with this U.S. men's national team, and everybody was waiting for that one big performance or that one moment where you go, oh, well, he's definitely a lock. And now we're seeing the way he plays with PSV is translating to the U.S. men's national team. And today, again, albeit with a grain of salt because it was Trinidad, but it's a big step in the right direction. He had a team high 20 passes in the attacking third, which means he's in the right spots. He's always trying to get either behind the back line, engaging the back line, creating more space for players in the attacking third. He had a team high 4 key passes. So I love the fact that he was able to blend, making good runs in the box, getting good touches with finishing. You got to get on the score sheet, but also finding the right pass, trying to unlock a relatively resilient low block in Trinidad and Tobago without the intensity and the quality. But again, you can't control who you play against. What you can control is starting the tournament off on the right foot. Trinidad, I think it was so important that they got that early goal, which they did, but to have a convincing performance where you can say, hey, we're putting all this crap behind us from the 2 friendlies, the Christian Pulisic interview, the all the noise around this team that is in a negative light. Now we're kind of changing their narrative on our own. And man, there's a lot in front of you. Saudi Arabia is going to be a challenge. But if they can come away with a convincing win and get to a Gold Cup final and raise that cup, what's it going to do for this team? What's it going to do for Pochettino?
Yeah, they needed positivity. That's what I said, right? And Saudi Arabia, for this group of players, I hadn't looked at their roster, but should be a really difficult match. This should be a real test for them. Haiti, I don't see it. I see it looking a lot more like this game we just saw, and then you battle from there. But yeah, I think that for me that we talked about the biggest pluses here. Tillman's still the guy that sticks out for me. He's still the guy that, as Tom Bogert said, he's probably the closest. Now maybe Matt Freese at the moment, but he's probably the closest to a starting 11 spot, right, in the World Cup at some point. So he needed something, and we've been saying forever, as you mentioned, let's get the PSV version of Tillman. And then, Charlie, you might remind me, who was it that we were speaking to in an interview one time? I think it was on Morning Footy that said to us, Tillman's one of those guys, like he needs something, like his personality, he needs some confidence, right? Like he needs something. It was
from Ernie Stewart, exactly from the mouth of Ernie Stewart.
Perfect. And I'm glad you reminded me. Could this be the day like where he says, man, I finally fit in somehow? Like I finally got over that hump that I put the U.S. jersey on. I don't know. We're not going to know right now. But what we do know that we might find out 6 months from now, a year from now, that this was the day that he finally got over whatever it is, his worries about putting that U.S. jersey on. And you can say that you can make the argument like we've been, it's Trinidad, but we don't know, but it could be. And that's exciting because, as Grella says, we all watch him, right? In Europe, we watch him play there, in European competition. And we're like, damn, man, the guy scores goals. He's the player of the year in that league. And yeah, we're like, it's a completely different player. Today we saw a little bit of that. So that's probably for me the thing I'm most excited about today.
Also, by the way, JJ Spawn just won the US Open. Side note.
Oh, great. Really, I didn't know that. I thought it was close. How did it come down? How many strokes did they win?
There was like a 6-man tie for first coming into it, and then JJ Spawn won it. So just so you're watching, and
congratulations, JJ.
Yeah, pretty big moment.
Yeah.
Was a again. We could talk about it all night, but it was a really good performance. Take it with a grain of salt against this Trinidad side, but some really good guys today that I saw that really pushed the envelope, that really said, look, we want to be part of it. We want to play in this way. And I think we learned a little bit about Pochettino, about the fullbacks and what they want to do and how aggressive they want to be. Now, if they play against a top 10 team, if they play against Argentina or whoever's in the top 10, right? What's that look like? We don't know yet. We don't really know. But again, this is what was put in front of them. Really good start to the tournament. Now we'll see moving forward.
Yeah, I think it'll be telling once we start to see the full group. But I wanted to get a take from you guys, a taste of what you thought when it came to picking this team with Pochettino and the mentality, because it's easy to pick a team. You're playing Trinidad, but I think the mentality was evident. That was different, a little bit different today. That they knew what was kind of in front of them, how important it was, and listening to what Pochettino wanted, the instructions, getting it clear, both on the press, but also in possession, the quality, some of the intricate passing, which I absolutely loved seeing, Berhalter dropping deep, and then there's a ball that's played sideways and that ball comes forward and it's between the lines, or he's Luca Del Torre finding the gaps, and McGlynn not afraid to get it inside under some stress. And playing it forward, figuring out ways to try and connect with Diego Luna, who I thought was terrific today, all around the pitch in the attacking half, always trying to go forward, played with a lot of freedom and creativity. So all in all, what do you make of Pochettino today, guys?
I think, we look at this and he put, I'm trying to think of the substitutes here, is McKenzie, Aronson, Haji Wright. I still, as much as I like Ajiman, I think he got it right for today. I would be surprised if he gets another start against Saudi Arabia. I think if we're looking at changes, like that might be the one that he got wrong today. I understand why he started him, all the things we talked about during the game, but I still think, I think it was you, Grill, that said it. Haji Wright right now is a sharper version of Patrick Ajiman.
Hey, I saw a comment. It's an evolved version of Ajiman is Haji Wright.
Okay, I'll use it. I'll steal it. An evolved version of Ajiman is Haji Wright right now. But there's still a thought process that I got to give this guy some opportunities. I see something. Look, every coach sees players in a different lens, right? And they have in their mind, and they see things in training that we don't see. I got to give him a chance because I think there's something there. And if I don't give him a chance, I'm never going to see it come out. Like you got to work you got to give guys work in order to get there. Maybe that's what we're seeing here. So as far as his lineup, great. I'm still skeptical, if you will, about the Jack McGlynn as a winger. I get it. You're gonna have to interpret it a different way. That one, I'm still skeptical about. And I suppose if I want to really, really nitpick, I love Tim Ream. But Tim Ream, I think is did he turn 37 yet? But he's 36, 37 years old. Are we going to count on him? Right? That's the question mark.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be 38 at the World Cup.
Will he be 38? Okay.
He'll be 38.
I mean, and then Charlie, you made a comment in the second half. They switched to a 3-man center back system.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen. I can relate to the Italian national team, obviously one of the best teams in the world in the history of the game defending. We've seen Barzagli and Chiellini and Bonucci play in that 3-man system. If they decide to go that way in the next few months and say, okay, we're going to play this way, then Reem for me totally fits. When you talk about a back four where the fullbacks go up and forward and you might be naked a little bit at the back, you might have a triangle of the two center backs with maybe a holding midfielder.
Tyler.
In moments of transition. And Reem is one of those guys at 37, going to be 38 at the World Cup. That to me doesn't give me a ton of confidence. If you tell me that he's going to play in a 3-man system, he might play in the middle of that and he might be making a lot of the plays and add to experience, communication in there, when to step, when not to step. Organizing guys in front of him, then I like that more so, and I could understand it more so having that sort of experience in the team. If you look at obviously the career he's had and where he's played in the games he's played in, then I like that. But when you play with a 2-man center back system, to have Reem back there against the likes of, we're talking about you could be coming up against some of the best players in the world. That's a little scary to me. Having him in 30 yards, 40 yards of space in a transitional moment, 1v1 against like a Vinny Jr. or something. That to me, it doesn't sit right with me. So that obviously, if he is a part of the plans moving forward, then I understand it. But he's going to need a lot of help and cover around him just in those different moments, that the World Cup will present if you want to get to the later stages.
I'm 100% with you on that, Grilla. So if we're looking at this group, there were some good substitutions who came in. We saw Brent Aronson get on the score sheet, Haji Wright get on the score sheet. Who impressed you the most coming off the bench?
For me, Haji Wright.
Good.
For me, Haji Wright. We watched them all year again. A guy that adds something different. A guy that can do things out of nothing. That on the dribble, he's dangerous. On the run, he's dangerous. Finishing in the box, pretty clean player. For me, he's the guy that was the most impressive off the bench. Aronson, again, he really looks like the guy. So technical, so sharp. He's like a B version of Pulisic, with all due respect to him, because I watched this season at Leeds. Thought he was fantastic, had one of his best seasons. But there's moments where he gets trapped and he looks just a little lightweight and he looks like there's no end product at times. Haji Wright, I think, can hurt you. He can really hurt you in the moment that it matters the most, where I don't know if Aronson carries that same type of danger in those moments.
Well, we got to go to break. I think I'm with you on the Aronson and the dangerous part. I think a great option off the bench because of his work rate and pressing and transition moments there. But don't go anywhere. We still got a lot more to do on this recap. And again, a 5-0 win for the U.S. men's national team to take down Trinidad and Tobago, the first match of the group stage of Gold Cup. So positive. We're moving forward, people. Don't go anywhere.
Go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
What's he like? The happy-faced killer?
You mean my dad? Be glad you never have to know.
You think that you're so much better than me. You're just like your old man.
I am not like you at all.
The crowd loves champions. Gladiator 2 is an epic spectacle.
To amuse you is my only wish.
The glory is yours, not mine.
Very good. Gladiator 2, rated R, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
The most original musical ever is now streaming on Paramount Plus.
I'm just giving the people what they want.
Better Man absolutely sizzles from start to finish. Better Man, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
The clock never stops. Relive the greatest moments with uninterrupted highlights and more.
It's Gareth Bale. wonderful goal!
On the UEFA Champions League channel. Streaming free.
Get ready.
Wait a second. I thought we were going tubing.
All 3 Sonic the Hedgehog movies and Knuckles are now streaming on Paramount Plus.
And everyone loves it.
Every adventure,
Just try to keep up.
every face-off,
This ends now.
and every moment that will have you saying,
Where have you been? My entire life!
It's showtime!
all 3 Sonic the Hedgehog movies and the entire Sonic universe are now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Call It What You Want. I'm with my cigar smoking king, Mike Grella, in the Hall of Famer. We all know we're used to the man bun in gold. 1994 World Cup. Tony Miola. So I'm coming right to you, Tony. Matt Freese, clean sheet. I don't know how much of it is a surprise that he's starting in gold for this Gold Cup. Maybe if you told me 2 months ago that Matt Freese would be starting Gold Cup, we'd probably all say, no, I don't think so. How would you assess his performance? I know it was Trinidad Tobago. I know it was a commanding result, but is this the guy moving forward until Matt Turner gets a club?
Well, that's the last part. That becomes a tricky question, right? Until he gets a club and then gets back in form. Obviously, the play against Switzerland, if there was any sort of doubt in their mind, hey, do we give Matt Freese this tournament or the first game, or is it Matt Turner? Maybe that's the determining factor, if you will, right? A mistake, and you give up a ball and you don't look confident in doing it. Today, there was just the one instance, right? Actually, no, there were 2 plays. One, Chris Richards, I actually think did good defending the back post, and the guy hit it right at Matt Freese. And there's the one that he went down, right? The one down to his left, which he pushed by the post. Those are sometimes tougher games, right? You're not necessarily in the moment. You're not necessarily, you don't feel warm, and all of a sudden you got something to do. And I said earlier, and go down as far as you possibly can go. So give him credit for that. The one thing that I watch him at NYCFC or NYC now. He doesn't look uncomfortable with his feet. I'm not judging my goalkeeper on that. It's not the first thing I look at. For me, it's keeping the ball out of the net. And I tell you, moments in games, and he hasn't had that moment yet to turn a game on its head with a save, and it'll come at some point. But yeah, he looks comfortable. Guys don't mind putting the ball back to his feet. He makes it really, really simple. He doesn't try and complicate it. So I like that part about the game. Historically, this tournament, we haven't made a lot of changes in goal. It hasn't been one of those tournaments where now Pochettino is new. We don't know his rhythm yet. We don't know how he looks at this thing. We do have this example between Turkey and Switzerland. I'm going to guess, Charlie, that he goes with Freese in this one for the next one as well. That's my guess again.
So if you're Matt Turner, let's say you're the agent of Matt Turner, are you at this point saying, hey, come back to MLS? Like we've seen.
Well, not if he has this deal, right?
But, in terms of it's either you're playing with the U.S. men's national team in this World Cup as the starter out and out, or you're going to be second, third choice because Zach Steffen, again, just had surgery, and he would be starting if it wasn't for that. What are you going to do if you're Matt Turner?
Put yourself in his shoes, right? You call your agent, and you call your agent, and he goes, "Yeah, Mike, I've spoken to 5 teams. I've spoken to 55 teams, and everyone sees you as a backup." But if you go back to the Red Bull, you're going to play every game. You're going to make similar type of money. You're going to make a good living. You get to a World Cup, and then you try and go back to Europe again. Like the choice is probably pretty easy, right? You come back, you play, you get on the World Cup team, because the reality is if you're not playing at your club, I don't think anyone's making this roster next year if they're not playing full-time at their club or significant minutes at their club, right? So then you got a choice to make. Do I stay there for a year? I don't know. What choice would you make? For me, I would come back and play, and I would play my ass off for a year and then try and go back to Europe again, but I'm making a World Cup team. So it's tricky. It's tricky.
Listen, first of all, his agent, it's like real terms, his agent's probably saying, where's the biggest agent's fee? And let's go over there, right? That's probably what he's saying. And if he's not, if he's looking at his best interest and saying, what do we do to get in the World Cup team? Because that's big picture, because probably then there's bigger moves and more bigger fish to fry moving forward. If he's got to go to the moon to play football, then that's where he's got to go, right? So if Tony says it could be New York Red Bull, could be somewhere in the MLS, fine. If I was a manager, I'm going to play guys that are going to play full time in their team. Why can't it be the guys that played tonight? Why can't it be? For me, you can't get tied to the name or the talent or the pedigree. You got to play guys that are playing regular football in their team. And with the goalkeeper position, Tony, you probably back me up on this or know better than me. It's even more important than a player, right? Like, you've got to play games when you're in the goal, because you're always a little bit awkward if you've sat out for a few seasons as a backup goalkeeper and you come in. You're always liable for some type of mistake or not making the save you should make, because you just haven't seen it in a game like situation. I don't care if you train every single day. You have to play football. I'll say this also, like Matt Turner, we've had him on our program a ton, and he's a lovely person. I don't see how Matt Turner is a staple in a team if he's not playing regular football. I actually would say that he's nowhere near a staple in the team. He might not even be around it if he's not playing regular football. So if he's got to go to the moon to play football, then that's where he's got to go, whether that's MLS or whether that's somewhere else in the championship or wherever. He's got to play football. And I think that rule holds pretty true to most of the players. If I'm a manager, I want to play the guy that I know is going to give me what he's going to give me. And I'd rather fail with that guy than pick the name or pick the guy that, sort of, he's a bigger talent, but he hasn't played football in 3 months. It's like you gotta play the guys that play and the guys that want to be there and the guys that are going to buy into whatever system you're playing. Those are the guys you gotta go with. Because if you just go and pick the best 11 players, because this guy plays here and this guy plays there and this guy, I think you're gonna be in trouble. I think you're gonna be in trouble in those games, in the big games, where it gets to the 60-minute mark and your legs start to get heavy.
Oh, Haiti almost scored. Haiti nearly found the back of the net on Saudi Arabia.
You got Haiti.
But I got the Haiti Saudi Arabia match on, and Haiti's pushing.
Where is it, Charlie? I got to get it on.
FS1.
Okay.
Get on FS1. But Haiti doesn't look too bad right here. They whipped in a dangerous ball. The Saudi Arabian keeper absolutely fumbled it. Then it was a shot on goal. Defender clears it off the line, and then another player comes in and tries to bend it top bins with his left foot. Just gets two under it. But it's a good showing from Haiti there. And now Saudi Arabia on the break, 2v2. Haiti does a good job of dealing with that. But, hey, this game's open, wide open. I'm going to be curious to see this next match, because we saw Saudi Arabia in that 2022 World Cup shock Argentina, the eventual winners in that first game. They do have quality. This is a underrated side. I mean, of course, you're not playing Belgium or Netherlands or Holland or France or Brazil, but they do have players who are underrated, who have a lot of quality. I think defensively they probably make some mistakes in terms of decision making, playing out of the back, but the team can hurt you. So if you could say there's only one player you think that's going to be dropped in the starting 11, that's Patrick Agyemang. Do you see anybody else? Do you think Tyler Adams, if he was coming in, who do you think whose spot do you think he's taking between De La Torre and Berhalter?
remember we had Johnny and Downs not available today. Looks like illness. You had Tyler Adams. What was it? A foot or an ankle?
Turf toe, I believe.
Turf toe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if those guys, I think we've been kind of waiting for the Johnny and Adams partnership for this tournament. If they're available, I think they play. I don't think they'll take any chances with Tyler, especially in this first round, because now with this win, you're pretty close to getting through. And obviously another win you would secure that. So do you take a chance with him? I don't think you take a chance with him anyway in any circumstance. So, yeah, look, I think those would be two real logical changes. The other one, if they expect – see, Tim Ream playing today, the expectation, I think, is you're going to have the ball. You're going to be able to build out of the back. And there's no one – we don't have anybody better than Tim Ream building out of the back, right? So that could be sort of just a quick masterstroke by Pochettino. I see this game being this, and he helps us here. But maybe Mark McKenzie gets a start alongside Chris Richards would be the other one that I would think about.
Would you make any more changes, Grella?
This goes back to the original conversation for me of how do you want to play? Where do you have your best players? Do you want to get Ream into the team or not? Because if you feel like he's your best player, if you feel like he's a piece that you need moving forward, and you feel you need to move to the wing back system, right? Then that makes a lot of sense to me. Then you play that way, and maybe that's why he changed in the second half to look forward. But we don't from where we're standing, we don't know exactly what Pochettino's seeing and thinking and knowing of what the characteristics of these guys that he wants to play. I think today was really positive because it shows that if you don't perform or if you're injured or if you're not playing in your club, there are answers. There are other guys that want to take that moving forward. But again, it's going to go back down to trying to read and get inside Pochettino's mind and understand this is what he wants the team to look like. And for me personally, I think that, coming into not tonight, but coming into sort of the last year, I always look at Ream and say, 37 years old, population of 350 million people in this country. We don't have better center backs that are better equipped.
Penalty for Saudi Arabia.
Playing in Ream. And then when I see Ream play and when I look at his career and when I see how mature he is in the ball and everything else and what he adds to the team, I go the other way and I say, this is a guy they need in the team. This is a guy that they probably should have in the big moments, experience-wise and everything else. And some of the top teams in the world have had really old players that can add that. So if he's in Pochettino's plans to be a starter, to be a main piece, then how can you give him cover and how can you play in a way that suits him? How can you play in a way, essentially, that suits your best players? And how can you build those relationships and build them fast, by the way, because we're talking about a year out. And I can't believe that we're still having the conversation of, hey, we need to give Ajiman some time to see what he's about. And we need to have this guy some time. And we're still switching formations and we're still switching. Right. And we're having conversations with Pulisic as the best player on our team and riffraff and drama. I can't believe a year out we're still doing that. Now, the good thing about football is that things change quickly. So can we change that narrative quickly and have more nights like tonight where we know what we look like and we know who we want and we know what we want those relationships to be like and moving forward? Because I think that's Pochettino's task. That's what he got paid the big bucks for. That's why he's the big name, because he's got to be able to put this puzzle together. And unfortunately, I think we're a little bit behind the eight ball. It just feels that way, And like I said, it could change quickly, and hopefully it does. But it does feel like we're a little bit behind the eight ball in terms of personnel, formation, tactically what we want to look like, characteristics, relationships, and those triangles and those shapes that we want to play. So, but tonight was a step in the right direction.
Yeah, right now there's some drama here.
I see the penalty happen.
Yeah, it's a clear penalty. He had a fistful of the Saudi Arabian player's jersey, and now there's just some beef on the side. But I'm curious. You think Brendan Aronson gets a run where Jack McGlynn was today?
Brendan, he could. Yeah, he could. Remember, though, Poach said that he wanted to see him more as a number 10 where he was playing at his club, right? He said at the beginning when he got here that Brendan Aronson was playing too many positions. that he need to get settled in a position, and he gets settled at Leeds at the number 10 position. And he played for the most part, what I remember, Grell, 41 games, if I have it correctly, during the season. And we had it on the last day of the season, but it's something like that. And he played for the highest scoring team as the number 10, right, in the entire league. So that's where I think he sees him. Maybe there's a Malik Tillman maybe go out wide right a little bit. That could be a change as well. Back to this Downs. I hope he gets. I hope if it's just illness, I hope he gets over it. And in a day or two, we get to see him play. Because I don't know if you do, Charlie. I told you I don't really have a sample size of him other than a couple of clips and seeing him play. What was it against Switzerland for just a little bit and seeing him run a little bit, but that's it. I don't know enough about him.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, but that's what this Gold Cup is for. I'm curious to see, is Pochettino going to be the guy who constantly rotates? Because we do know, as good as this first game was, he still has to figure out some of the other guys, what they can do given a chance. He's got to give opportunities. He's got to rotate to make sure that guys have their fresh legs when they're playing against teams in the knockout rounds. So does he make wholesale changes? I think he learned a lot going from the Turkey A match to the Switzerland match. When you make too many changes, it gets a little bit dysfunctional and guys aren't anywhere near on the same page. So maybe it's just one or two versus 4, 5, 6. Does he bring both Tyler Adams and Cardoso in at the same time, or just one? I could see him just bringing in one and maybe a Patrick Agyemang up top. I probably foresee 4 changes if I had to guess. But I think if you do any more than 4, you're really disrupting the chemistry that was built in this first game. And that's a nice PK to make it 1-0 for Saudi Arabia over Haiti. I think maybe Haiti is where we see Damian Downs, Tony.
I would be fine with that. Yeah, I would be fine for sure. I don't want to see 9 changes like we saw against Switzerland because that doesn't do me much good. But yeah, so I know you got to go to a break here, but I'm sure we'll get more on in a little bit. But yeah, those would be the ones.
Yeah, Grella is telling me I don't read the chat. I rarely do read the private chat. I only read the chats from the comments from my people. I'm the man of the people. Gordo, Bradley Montgomery, DJ Med, I see you guys. We got to go to break. When we come back, it's our final chapter of this live watch along. I think we'll have another special guest to give us a little bit of the details at the post-match press conference. But we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Here we go. The 2025 CBS Sports NFL schedule is here. 18 glorious Sundays.
He's got his receiver touchdown.
Filled with rematches.
Oh, the play of the year.
And rivalries.
Touchdown, Bengals.
Plus, plenty of superstar showdowns. And an epic matchup between the Chiefs and Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Clear your Sundays beginning September 7th for the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
What's he like? The happy-faced killer?
You mean my dad? Be glad you never have to know.
You think that you're so much better than me. You're just like your old man.
I'm not like you at all.
The crowd loves champions. Gladiator 2 is an epic spectacle.
To amuse you is my only wish.
The glory is yours, not mine.
Very good. Gladiator 2, rated R. Now streaming on Paramount Plus.
The most original musical ever is now streaming on Paramount Plus.
I'm just giving the people what they want.
Better Man absolutely sizzles from start to finish. Better Man now streaming on Paramount Plus.
The clock never stops. Relive the greatest moments with uninterrupted highlights and more.
It's Gareth Bale. No goal. Wonderful goal.
On the UEFA Champions League channel. Streaming free.
And I won't look back. I won't give up. Look, I'm invincible.
step. I thought we were going tubing.
All 3 Sonic the Hedgehog movies and Knuckles are now streaming on Paramount Plus.
And everyone loves it.
Every adventure,
Just try to keep up.
every face-off,
This ends now.
and every moment that will have you saying,
Where have you been? My entire life!
It's showtime!
all 3 Sonic the Hedgehog movies and the entire Sonic universe are now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Welcome back to Call It What You Want. I have to say, shout out to Greg Perez in the comments. He said, had I been still playing, I'd be a starter on the Australian Club World Cup team. Hey, I'm cap tied, so I can't play on that right now on that Australian team, or it's the Club World Cup team. Anyway, I'm out. Can't play. But we got a special guest, Paul Tenorio, who was there live. He heard everything from the fans, the supporters. He also got to hear from Mauricio Pochettino after the game. Tenorio, tell me what you saw today. How would you describe that performance? And what is Mauricio Pochettino thinking?
Hey, guys. Sorry, I don't have audio of you, but I'm going to go ahead and start talking here from the mix zone. I don't want to say I'm in the mix zone because there's no live recordings allowed from the mix zone. So, look, the vibes at the press conference from Pochettino, I think, were what you'd expect, man. He was really, really positive, happy. I think mostly just to have something positive, something happy to talk about. And after the way that he said, look, I don't want to call it negativity, but let's be honest, it was negativity around the group after 4 straight losses. So to feel like you cut that negativity out, gave yourself a chance to be excited, to be happy, to be satisfied with something, I think is what his message was. And they were also really pleased with some of the individual performances. Like I'm looking right now, Malik Tillman's just come out for the mix zone. And, that's a player that Pochettino really praised in the press conference and said he's finally feels like he's getting to know Malik Tillman and that Malik Tillman is getting to know them, the staff, and that's led to a really lovely kind of connection that's blossoming right now in the Gold Cup.
That is phenomenal because we needed that to happen for the USMNT team. Paul, can you hear us now or no? Nothing.
Hold on. I got you guys now. I got you.
Okay.
Let's go.
You got us.
Let's go, Chuck D.
Let's go. Okay. So how would you summarize the performance today? You watching them live, who stood out to you? Who made the biggest impression on you?
Yeah, I thought it was a good performance overall. There were, you take away the positives, I think, especially in the first half I felt like the way Malik Tillman and Diego Luna, 2 guys that were given a lot of responsibility to lead this attack, played. Not everything, I'm not going to throw a blanket positive over everything. Like I thought Ajamong had a lot of opportunities that he wasn't able to cash in on it at a forward position right now that's wide open, a chance to win a job. And, am I convinced right now that Patrick Ajamong is better than Josh Sargent? No, I'm not. And tonight didn't kind of allay any of those issues. But overall, I thought, yeah, it was a bright performance. I thought you saw the effort from guys. That was really important. Somebody like Sebastian Berhalter, who kind of got thrown into the lineup because guys were sick, guys had a foot injury. He responded to that opportunity, I thought, in a positive way as well. So for me, I think Malik Tillman was the standout performer 2 games in a row now that we've seen him play against Turkey. And now today, where he created opportunities, he scored goals, and I think he's going to have a chance to play a role for the full team when they gather back after this Gold Cup. But I think he's maybe the more important player, the most important player of this group right now.
Paul, how does he approach this now moving forward? We saw obviously between the 2 friendlies there was wholesale changes, right, in that lineup. Certainly we're gonna see some changes, but do you think it'll be a mixed bag again? Because I think in general we're starting to feel, and we have felt that Saudi Arabia is probably the best test in this opening round.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see the type of rotation that we saw before. Obviously, we know what happened when you change 9 guys out and you put a lot of young players in the lineup who had never played in those moments before against a good Switzerland team. I think we'll see some rotation, maybe some guys coming back healthy. Like, could we see a Tyler Adams get put into the lineup? I think that's a possibility. Maybe some of the other spots where a guy like Ajamong didn't score the goals. Does it mean that there's another opportunity coming for another forward? Damian Downs is sick. Does Haji Wright start up top? So those types of tweaks and changes I think we could see. But, I think now we're at the point where Mauricio Pochettino wants to start finding his group. That's another part of this. Even if it's the secondary guys, who are the guys I can trust that I can count on? And he wants to build something. That's another point that he had in the press conference just now is you have to start building on the positivity. You have to carry over the positive result into the next game against Saudi Arabia and have another positive result. And it reminds me, like, he was so positive after the Turkey game, even though the result wasn't great. He was like, okay, look, like we had the right attitude and now we have to be consistent. And then they fell flat against Switzerland. So he's got to avoid that. Maybe 1 or 2 or 3 changes. I don't think we'll see a heavy rotation here. Get the result, put yourself in the right position in the group. And then, if you want to talk a little bit more of rotation at Haiti, I think that's fair game.
Grella, you apparently don't read the chat either. But I'm gonna throw it to you, Tenorio.
I'm next.
Yeah, okay, so what are we waiting for? Let's go.
Well, all right, I'll ask Paul a question. I think how much we talk about in this game. I think the biggest difficulty for us is analyzing the game was, they played against Trinidad and Tobago, right? So like, how much can we actually take from it? What will that test be like against Saudi Arabia? Because they're winning right now against Haiti. So this could be the next match could be a match for first place. So how much better is the level and how much more can we learn from that second game?
Yeah, I mean, we have to keep in mind the opponents, right? And I think that was really important about the Switzerland result was, okay, no matter what happens in the Gold Cup, this is what the type of opponent you want to play well against, the Switzerland type teams. That's who you're really thinking about competing with in the World Cup. So when we measure some of these players, let's measure them as much or more based on that Switzerland game than against games like these. I think that's important context to keep in mind. I do think the Saudi game is the biggest challenge of this tournament. They're missing a lot of guys for the Club World Cup as well. They're not having as good of a qualification as this isn't the Saudi team that, went to the World Cup before. So, we still have to keep that in mind and keep those results relative. But at this point, I think it's as much about generating positivity and optimism as it is about the results themselves. Like, if they win this game again, like tonight, 5-0, okay, let's put that in context. But really, it's like, can you start to show something? Can you start to feel like we're building something here? And that's what I thought today was a first step towards. It's like, okay, you got a result. Now can you build? And for me, that's what the next game is going to be about.
Paul, did he mention anything, Pochettino, about Matt Freese? Is he the starter for the rest of the tournament? Has he made up his mind? It feels like with a solid start to Gold Cup and Matt Freese getting the start, it feels like that's who he's going to go with for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, he didn't commit to it for the rest of the tournament, but he said, look, I know what Matt Turner brings, and I think it's important that we see what some of these other goalkeepers can do and to reward them, not just in training, not just being here in the camp, but in the games as well. And he wanted to give Matt Freese the opportunity to do something in a game, trust when it counts, and to give other guys an opportunity. He said Matt Turner wasn't happy about it, and Matt Turner let him know he wasn't happy about it, but he praised Matt Turner for, being a leader still from the bench today and understanding what Mauricio Pochettino is trying to do. So not a full commitment for the tournament, but I think, at this point, Matt Freese, hold on to the job. Don't lose it.
Who do you want to see here, Paul, in this next game? Is there anyone sitting around? I mentioned Downs. Of course, he was sick, but I don't have I mentioned him because I don't have a profile on him. I don't really know much about him, so I want to get a peek at him. And then the other thing is, going to 3 in the back. Is it something that that they've worked? Clearly, they've worked on it. How much maybe they've worked on it? And do you think we'll see it a little bit more? Because you always want that in your bag.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was more just about kind of the guys that were going in. I don't know how much of the back 3 is something that we'll see. I think it's something clearly that he's working on, right? To your point, you want to be able to have that adjustment in the bag for if you need it. But I think, he talked earlier in this camp about Max Arfson playing in the back four for the first time in his career. Obviously plays more as a wing back with Columbus. So, the mentality is like, okay, can you play left back in a four? And I think that to me was an indication like that's what his preference is. But certainly I think when you have some of the depth issues and some of the strengths in the starters and Anthony Robinson, Serginho Dest in getting forward, it opens up that possibility of playing with three in the back so that you can get those players bombing forward without giving up too much in transition and in transition defending. So we'll see if that's something that they keep working on. But I think it is more of that of like, okay, we just want to kind of throw that challenge at you and see what comes of it.
What's funny is I think a 4-4-2 is the easiest formation to defend in. Like you think, oh, I'm going to add a center back, go 3-5-2. I think it just makes your team that much more vulnerable in some of those wide areas because you feel like everyone has to get consolidated. Where 4-4-2, we see how Arsenal makes it so difficult to break them down in a 4-4-2 when everyone's well drilled, everyone knows their roles. 2 blocks of 4. I just feel that you don't necessarily need to bring in 3 center backs, although maybe you take off a striker, bring in a center back in a 4-4-2 situation. But hey, I'm really liking what I'm seeing from this particular group against this opponent in Trinidad to start a Gold Cup.
Yep, this is what you wanted if you're Mauricio Pochettino in the U.S. Take care of business, 5 goals, feel good about it. Don't feel too good. Go to the next game and show you can do 2 in a row because let's be honest, the level wasn't great from the opponent tonight, but you try to take some positives, build on it, like I said, and stay atop the group, avoid Mexico early in the knockouts. And that's what this tournament's about, play the opponent in front of you. That's it.
How sketchy does Saudi Arabia look today?
Charlie, we just finished saying like, oh, Saudi's going to be a good test for him. Like,
yeah, I take that back. I take it back.
He's got big chances, like huge chances in this game.
Missing a lot of guys on that Saudi team, but hey, the U.S. has got to go and take advantage. They've got to go and get the results and show. I mean, this team's missing guys. So is Saudi. Go get the result. Go show that you deserve to be a part of the bigger picture for a year out from a World Cup.
You know what I think is a really good point too is like, we make all these points about like this tournament and this opposition and all the Al Hilal players are missing for Saudi today and whatever. There's so many variables, right? At the end of the day, right? You're going to look at this tournament and say, how far did you go in the tournament? We're not going to look back 5 months from now and say, oh, well, we were missing this guy, we were missing that guy, and this happened. We're gonna either use it as or the U.S. is gonna use it as a building block and say, hey, we've been to the final, played a pretty good game, we won the tournament, whatever. But this is a building block, regardless of all the excuses and all the A, B, and drama and everything else. This is a building block. There's a tournament that can be a massive. It's primarily used for that. Where if you go on and win it, or if you go on and make it to the final and have a really good performance and say, okay, we feel better about this. We feel better about this group. But it's not going to be a tournament, I think, where we look back and say, oh, well, all these excuses of why we made it here or why the U.S. made it there or whatever. So this is an opportunity, I think, in the next game, go on, get 3 points, go on to the knockout stages, play against the Canadas, the Mexicos if you can, really test yourself, and then walk away from that 6 months' time and say, hey, we were pretty good 6 months ago. This is what we did to be successful. This is what we didn't do to be successful, and take things away from it. But we're going to ultimately be graded on where we finish in this tournament, and that's going to be helped to move forward and going into the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I agree also. I think also we got to remember, like, national teams are remembered for one thing, what they do at the World Cup. And we spend so much time talking about qualifying, Gold Cups, Nations Leagues. It won't matter. You go to the World Cup, you fall on your face, that's how you're remembered. You go to the World Cup, you make a run, that's how you're remembered. And that's true about every single tournament this team has ever been in. And for every national team, that's what you're judged on. So you're right. All of this is building blocks. All of this is about putting a squad together to then go tell your story. The story of this team right now is what we're talking about right now. But the story of this team that lasts is going to be about what they do in a year at a home World Cup. Straight up, period, end of story.
Well done,
No
Paul.
doubt.
I just want to thank you for joining us again. We're going to close out appreciate you. Pretty soon we're going to wrap up this show in a couple of minutes. But Paul, always appreciate your insight. Thanks for being our ears on the ground, and we'll come back to you for the next match.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Paul.
See you, Paul.
All right, guys. It's late. It's Father's Day. It's time for us to step away from the game. I've had tournaments all day, all morning, watching this with you guys on the watch along. It's been awesome, but it's time for me to go get my glass of wine and just chill for the rest of the night. But we got a wrap up show coming up. A pre-show on Tuesday to kind of talk about the Saudi Arabia side we're about to face. I'm looking forward to that. And happy Father's Day to everybody watching. I know my dad's watching, so happy Father's Day to my dad. I already called you earlier, but I know he's always watching. I appreciate you, Tony and Mike, proud fathers as well. You're doing an incredible job. I love seeing what you guys have done, raising young men, and excellent show. Appreciate you all. Thanks for watching us from the watch along. Thanks for listening to us on Call It What You Want. Our show is now good to great. Shout out to Jimmy Conrad, Cream Cheese. He's on vacation. He's somewhere in Mexico, I think. So anybody who's listening who's in Mexico, see if you find him. Tell him to get back on the show. We miss Red Dot. We need Red Dot. And Mike Grella, special thanks for joining the show for us. Awesome insight as always. Keep it real.
I love you, boys. It was fun. We had a blast. I'd love to join anytime. Let me know.
All right. And that's it for this edition of Call It What You Want. The live watch along was a hit, success. The recap show. Appreciate you all, and have a great night. Much love.